All right, guys, welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today and for waiting patiently, as always, for the intro to finish up there. It is Sunday, what is it, August 31st, the last day of August. And then we move into September. September should be an interesting month. We have Michael Lynch right out of the gate with a $2 super chat saying, "So you have chosen combat." Nice. Well, I guess we'll see. Definitely being more aggressive today. Um, but the aggression is fueled by the gaslighting and the hypocrisy. And that's the problem. We're going to talk about it. Although the bigger problem is that this is really the only topic I have to talk about. That is the bigger problem. This is, in my opinion, this is not the most exciting topic. So we're gonna cover what we can. We're gonna cover what we can. Corey, what's up, man? If then statement, what's going on, buddy? Um, oh, that's interesting, Irfan. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. Um, 3 hours of rage is fine by me. We're gonna do 3 hours of rage. That's what this is. 3 hour rage stream. Michael Warnes with the $2 chat says, "Like the video, you scoundrels." Oh, I'm sure we're gonna have some dislikes today too. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have some dislikes today, but that's okay. You could dislike the video, like the video, or the stream, I mean. But if you want to dislike it, do that too, because it does. Dude, that's impossible. That's impossible. It says we have 0 dislikes. That is impossible. That's a troll. That's a troll right there. I don't get it. I don't get it. Benino says, "I thought Square Enix says that 3.5 million sales was bad." For Square Enix, yeah, 3.5 million is not enough. Final Fantasy 16 flat out did not sell enough across all platforms. It seems to me that Square Enix completely overestimated the relevance of Final Fantasy. I think that's kind of obvious, but what we're going to be doing today is going over some data regarding Helldivers 2. Apparently, we're getting our first sales data for how Helldivers is doing on Xbox. And I did tell you guys I was very interested to get this information to see, what it was going to do. Now, if you've been following me, which I know a lot of you here have been, if you've been listening to what I've been saying, I've been saying that I think Helldivers is a game that makes the most sense to go to Xbox. It's a co-op shooter. They're doing the Halo ODST collab because it feels like it makes that much sense. And I speculated that I think this game will sell well on Xbox. I have a feeling because I saw people really coming out and being like, this game's not going to do anything. This game's going to flop. Nobody's going to buy it on Xbox. They just want it to go on Game Pass. And I think there is some level of truth to that. But I did kind of hold on to this idea that I think it would do pretty well because it just seems like the right type of game that would appeal to the Xbox user base, right? So we have Alinea Analytics. Always have trouble saying that name. We have Alinea Analytics. They're the same analytics company that said Forza Horizon 3 was like the best-selling game on PlayStation this year, new game, and sold like 3 million units. And then it was confirmed, I believe, that it did sell 3 million units and it was the best-selling game of the year. So they seem to have, we don't know exactly what their methods are to gain access to this data, but whatever it is, they seem to be pretty accurate. And so they come out and they say that in 3 days, Helldivers 2 has sold 600,000 units on Xbox. And again, that's over 3 days. It's a $40 game. And I believe the install base of Xbox Series consoles is 28 or 30 million units. I think it was confirmed it's slightly under 30 million, but we'll just say 30 million, I guess, for the sake of it, We have Corey the Legend Landiga coming in, dropping 5 membership gifts for you guys. He says, for Leia, Boss is MIA. Boss is actually right here. I know you can't see it, but he is sleeping on this chair. This chair has become his new cat tower. So make no mistake. You can actually see him a little bit. Bro, he is knocked out. Holy shit, he's knocked out. I'm seeing if I can wake him up. Oh, geez, chill, dude. Oh my god. He was in a deep sleep. Sorry, boss. I didn't. Well, there you go. Because if I didn't wake him up, nobody's going to believe he's like, he ain't there. He ain't sleeping there. He is. There's a chair. It's just below the camera. But Corey, thank you for the memberships, buddy. But yeah, 600,000 units in 3 days. And you know, it's interesting. I've been seeing the reactions to this, and to see the reactions to this on Twitter is very interesting. All I did was post the information, and I'm seeing a lot of people get very, very defensive immediately over this data. I posted on Twitter, Alinea Analytics estimates Helldivers 2 sold 600,000 copies on Xbox. And there were quite a few people here. Like, what's interesting is people are saying this is very good. Right? This is good. 600,000 units in 3 days on Xbox. That's great. That's a solid number. Good numbers overall. And I was thinking about this, and I'm like, well, I guess it depends on. We don't have Sony coming out, or Arrowhead for that matter, yet. We have to wait and see. We don't have official confirmation that this is good, or like it surpassed their expectations, or it underperformed and didn't meet their expectations. We don't know. And I don't think we're going to know. I don't think they're going to talk about it. Boss, are you serious? Come on, let's go up here. Hang out with Leia. Sorry, Leia. I don't think we're going to be, dude, come on. I'm trying to have a conversation with my audience, bro. Fine. Corey, I'll do this in good faith, because you're always dropping the 5 bombs for me. I'll give them some treats now so I can talk to you guys. All right. Here you go, boss. Go ahead. I guess Leia's going to eat them. Go ahead. Come on. Come on. You're good. You got it. There's more than enough room for both of you up there. Anyway, the general response is that this is pretty good, right? These are good numbers. You know, I'm seeing some people say they're terrible, they're horrible. You know, the big thing that I really want to focus on here, as you can see in my title, I say Xbox fanboys will tell you that 600,000 sales is good, but 3.5 million sales is bad. That 3.5 million sales that I'm referring to is actually, if you recall, Final Fantasy 16 on PlayStation 5. Now, if we look back, Final Fantasy 16 was locked down as an exclusive for PlayStation. It launched in June of 2023 on PS5. It was a $70 game. And when it launched on PS5, there was a PS5 install base of 40 million units. Okay. And after 5 days, Square and Sony announced that it sold 3.5 million units in 5 days. Now, there are going to be people who come out and they tell you that 3.5 million is a failure and not successful. Square Enix told me. But if you recall, it took time. Okay, it took time in order to get that information. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because you're going to see people cry for context, and I'm providing that context right now. We did not get confirmation from Square Enix right away that 3.5 million was not enough. All right. We didn't get that confirmation right away. We just got the celebratory post from, I think it was Square Enix or Sony or both. We got the celebratory post saying that they sold 3.5 million. And so, you know, people were talking about this saying, it seems pretty good. $70 game, you know, on a platform that had, on one platform with an install base of 40 million, 3.5, that's pretty good. Not bad. Maybe it'll climb up to 4 million or something like that, or 5 million. But at that time, there were a lot of people basically saying that that's not good, that that's a failure, that that's not successful. And the biggest thing that I want to highlight here is you are going to see people pretend. You're going to see people pretend. And this is where the gaslighting comes in. The same people, by the way, a lot of the same people. You're going to see a lot of the same people who are out here screaming that Final Fantasy 16 selling 3.5 million on a 40 million install base at $70 is not good enough, but they will come out here and they will tell you dead serious with a straight face that 600K on an install base of 30 million is great. It's actually very good. They will do that. They are doing that. And that's why I can't help but notice this. Now, if you ask me, is 600,000 sales on Xbox good? That's about 2% of the player base. It seems okay. I don't think it's as bad as it could be. I'll be honest, I was expecting at least 1 million. I'm not Sony, so my expectations don't matter, but I'm just saying I was expecting at least 1 million just because of how hyped this was and how big Helldivers is. But it seems like, it may get to 1 million in another week or something like that. No. See, I'm seeing people already get confused with this. When Final Fantasy 16 came out, it released to 40 million PS5 users. There are 80 million now, but back in June 2023, there were only 40 million PS5 sales, which was good at the time. But yeah, the whole thing I'm trying to figure out here, in case you can't tell, is what is it with, you get Astrobot that sells, I think, about 3 million units at this point. After 3 months or 1 month or something, it sold like 1.5 million. What is it with people trashing that and saying that's not good? That's a failure. That's bad. That's it? What is it with people, and I'm actually seeing this, I pointed this out on my Twitter, what is it with people trying to compare Helldivers to Returnal? Like, people are going to say, why are you comparing Helldivers to Final Fantasy? Because I'm getting people out here comparing Helldivers to Returnal. I'm like, Returnal's even worse, dude. Like, Returnal sold 800,000 to 1 million copies at $70 in April of 2021 when there were 8 million PS5s. So it's almost 1/8, which I think equates to about 12 or 13%, give or take. Almost like 1/8 of the PS5 player base bought Returnal at launch. And I'm seeing people come out here like comparing these things. I'm like, these are not comparable. The comparison I'm giving you right now is a better comparison to give than something like Returnal. But even this comparison isn't that great. Because yes, I understand. Why are we comparing Final Fantasy to Helldivers? Because I need to know why, when we get data and numbers regarding Sony games, you see the same people coming out telling you it's a failure, it's bad, it didn't succeed. But then when we see something like this, those same people are out here telling you otherwise. These same internet troll, I guess they're internet trolls. I don't know what, but they're meant to be taken seriously, I suppose. Like, this is what I'm trying to get at, is you have a group of people out here that are like, I'm not toxic, I'm not console warring, the console wars are over. They'll be the first people to celebrate this, but they were also the first people to tell you 3.5 million sales is bad on a 40 million install base. And what they do now is they're like, well, Square Enix told me it was bad. When did they tell you it was bad? Did they tell you the week that they told you it sold 3.5 million? Is that when they told you? How many months later did they tell you? How long did it take because they thought they were going to get more sales and they didn't? In fact, they told you 5 days, 3.5 million sales is good enough to announce it and celebrate it. Did it have the tail? Did it have the longevity? No, it didn't. It didn't sell well on PC. It didn't sell well on Xbox. Turns out all their sales were front loaded, which is unfortunate because I think Final Fantasy 16 was a great game. But this is the point. People ask for the context. They want the context. I'm here giving it to you. The context is 3.5 million was announced as a celebratory thing from Square Enix the first week of this game's launch. And all I was met with, and you guys remember, you guys were here, June 2023, having to deal with all of these same trolls, all of these same people, all the same groups telling me how it's a failure and that's not good enough and that's it. But they are the same people that will come out here today and let you know, oh, 600K on Xbox? Holy shit, bro. This is great. This is great news. Huge success for Helldivers. Here's the reality check. Helldivers has like 10 to 11, maybe even 12 million sales on PC. The remaining sales, I think it's 5 or 6 million on PS5. Xbox is about to make up for they are apparently making up for 600K of those sales. It's the question is simply, do Xbox players buy enough games to justify their existence on that platform? That's not for me to determine. I'm not Sony. It's not, I don't get I don't get to be the one to make the decision, if it only sold 600K, was it worth porting? I don't know. Again, I'm not the one making these decisions. All I can tell you is that 12 million, 12 million, 5 million, 5, 6 million, give or take. I'm not sure how accurate that split between PC and PS5 is, but it seems like it's roughly about there, according to Alinea Analytics. And then 600K. Like, I'm looking at that just from a bird's eye view, and I'm like, that doesn't seem very good. This is not Returnal. Okay? Returnal, for the imbeciles out there, and yes, they are out there. I had to literally reply to one on Twitter. These imbeciles exist. And they get upvoted, by the way. People ask, why do you even pay attention to these guys? Because I'm looking at how many upvotes they have. People are agreeing with this dumb fuck. Like, that's what gets my attention. Like, how are people agreeing with this? This is some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But they're out here. Returnal is a first-time AAA developed game by Housemarque, a single-player game. A single-player game that was there as a launch window title for the PS5. And we're going to compare that to the biggest live service launch of this year, one of the biggest live service games releasing this generation. That's what we're going to do? A game that is on its way to sell 20 million? This is what we're going to do. And you better believe that's what some of them are doing out there. And this is the stupidity that I'm talking about. Those are the Xbox fanboys that I'm talking about, that they're the ones that are watching all these clips and following all this shit, but then they come out and they say stuff like this. It's crazy, man. I let's be real, it's a failure on PlayStation. Just get over it. I would like you to explain to me how it's a failure on PlayStation. How is selling 5 to 6 million copies of anything a failure? Are you saying because it sold more on Steam, that means it's a failure on PlayStation? Is that your logic? Because that logic doesn't hold up. What you mean to say is it was more successful on Steam than it was on PlayStation. That's true, and that's a fact. Actually, what you just said, see, this is what I mean about these people. Let's be real, it's a failure on PlayStation. Then what do you call it on Xbox? Don't ask me what I call it. I think it's just fine. I think 600K is fine. I'm asking you what you call it. Tell me, what do you call it on Xbox? If it's selling 5 to 6 million on PS5 and that's a failure, what do you call it on Xbox? Go ahead. Tell me. Not one person knows what sold 600K. Chris, Helldivers 2 on Xbox in 3 days. Hold on. Who said that? um, I think that, the real question that I would like an answer to, the real question is, I want to know how Sony feels about 600K. You know, that's what I want to know. I want to know how Sony feels about 600K only because, well, let's face it, the lingering question that people have is Sony going to bring more games to Xbox? And it's a fair question because there's a lot of people who thought Xbox would never get Helldivers, and here we are. So now the next thing is, well, we have to see how it performs to determine if Sony's going to feel as though it's justifiable to maybe do more, right? And that's why this data, I think, is somewhat relevant, or actually very relevant. We have Hellbound 1981, another legend. He comes in. That's basically me today. Hellbound 1981, another legend, comes in and drops 5 more member gifts for you guys, keeping the member train rolling, bringing us up to 10 on the day. Thank you so much for that, Hellbound. Always appreciate your support, bro. You're always here dropping those 5 bombs for us. Look at the first month for PS5. Hold on. What does the first month for PS5 look like? So we're looking at February. It's looking like, let's see. Hold on. It's looking like it is close to 1.5 million for the first month. It is. I will say it is interesting. If you look at the data on PS5, the sales seemingly increased month over month. Do we think that's going to happen with Xbox though? Maybe. I don't know. I have this feeling that it's just not going to. It's not going to have that type of outcome on the Xbox. I could be wrong, but again, I was thinking that they were going to. I mean, I don't know, man. People were hyping this up to the moon and back. Like, I feel like I'm the one being gaslit over here, where it's like I have people telling me that like 600K is fucking crazy good, dude. That's really solid and very, very good. And I'm like, what? Would you be saying the same thing if like Spider-Man sold 600K on Xbox? If Sony put it on Xbox, or I mean, I guess they would be, right? Like, be like, that's great too. But you would think that, like, that's the thing though. It's like, if you think about something like Spider-Man going to Xbox, you're thinking that's going to sell a couple mil. It's Spider-Man, and maybe it would. But that's why I'm trying to highlight the fact that Helldivers is not like a Returnal situation, nor is it like an Astrobot situation. Helldivers is one of the biggest games released this generation, and that's what I think is important to highlight. I think that's important to highlight, man, and I think some people are just they want to ignore that fact. So, look, man, I think that there's a lot of disingenuous takes on this. I think there's a lot of disingenuous takes on this, and I'll tell you why. It's because they want to see this game. They want to make it seem like this game is doing so well on Xbox so they can get more games on Xbox. And I get it. I totally get it. Like, if you want Sony to bring more games to Xbox, you want to believe that this 600K sales in 3 days is amazing. Like that Sony's looking at that and they're like, chop chop, we got to get on Spider-Man and everything else. I get it. And to be fair, assuming it didn't cost Sony that much money to port this game, that is 600,000 more players. But I just have to question why so many of these individuals that I see celebrating this seem to be, I don't know. It's just I'll never understand it. I'll never understand how this is fantastic. 600K sales of your competitor's game finally making it to your console is amazing, but Astrobot weak. I even had people tell me that games like Horizon selling 8 to 9 million isn't good enough. I literally encounter those people frequently. And this is what I mean, where it's like, well, then what's your take? I want to know what their take on, I know what their take on the Xbox side is. Their take on the Xbox side is, this is amazing. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Where it's like, Basically, what I'm saying is if you're the person that criticized the sales of these previous games that I'm referencing, and you're out here today saying Helldivers 2 selling 600K is good, then you have to admit that those games you previously criticized are also, they sold well too. That's the point I'm trying to get at. And my question is, how many of those people are going to do that? When are they going to do it? When are they going to come out and say, you know what? Actually, the sales of these games were pretty good. They going to do it? Something tells me they won't. That's why I'm here trying to do it for them, because I know they won't. They'll ask me to, by the way. They'll demand if I'm wrong about something. Oh yeah, they'll demand. They'll demand that I rectify that very quickly. We have the Sparky Nuts, a member for 22 months. Thank you for that, buddy. He says MBG porting costs are usually around 5 to 10 million for AAA games. So 600K more than pays for that. It's important to keep it in perspective. I agree. That's why I'm saying, like, from Sony's perspective, this may very well be a success. I don't know, though. I don't know. Like, I don't think that this means they're going to cancel Marathon for Xbox. Certainly not. They're definitely going to release Marathon on Xbox. I think that this means they're going to continue to release their live service. They're going to continue to release their live service games on Xbox. But the real question has to be asked, like, is what we're seeing enough? Is this enough to push Sony over the edge and say, let's start porting our single-player games? Because let's face it, that's the question everybody wants answered. Me acknowledging this, people are going to be like, why are you console warring? I'm not console warring. I'm literally entertaining the things you people are saying. Not you, my chat, but you know who I'm talking about. You guys are the ones talking about expect Spider-Man, expect Days Gone. I'm hearing rumors of Returnal, all this shit. So I'm saying let's look at these numbers and really ask ourselves, is this enough to push Sony in that direction? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What do you mean, you people? It's 3.5 million is terrible for PlayStation and 600K is awesome for Xbox. Both can be true. No, they can't when they have comparable install bases. What you mean to say is 3.5 million is terrible for Square. And you know why that's terrible? I don't think it's terrible, but why it wasn't enough for Square? Because Square overestimated, and that's their fault. They failed to understand that your game, if you dump $200 million into it, you're banking on it selling anywhere between 7 and 10 million. You're going to be lucky if you get 4 or 5. That's them completely overestimating the desire of their game, how desirable their game is. And they overinvested. That's the fact. Square Enix overinvested. It's more than obvious, and that is on them. But I'll tell you what, do you know how many other studios would kill, to sell 3.5 million copies of a game at $70 on any platform? Many. People need to separate Square Enix's mismanagement of their funds to how well a game actually performs sales-wise. Like, I'm asking you to look at the numbers in isolation, then bring in the context. Okay? I'm trying to actually provide as much context as I can by letting you know that here's what was said the first week. Here's the data we got the first week. Here's what was said in the months after. And here's what we now know. Okay? So I'll actually flip it on you and what you said. If you say two things can be true at the same time, then okay. It can be true that the first week sales of Final Fantasy 16 on PS5 were actually very good and pacing very well and deemed a success. And then once they realized months later that actually that's kind of where it stopped, then it became a problem. Now it's not looking so good because we're not going to break even. Both of those things can be true at the same time. Can they not? We're evaluating something over time. So, like, if we hear 600K in 3 days and then 2 weeks from now we get an announcement that it sold 1.5 million, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, that's a huge success then. That's crazy. That means it sold more in the days after. It sold more after the first 3 days it was out. And that would be huge. That would be indicative of this game's actually going to sell better over time. But usually sales are front loaded. 99% of the time, sales are front loaded. Craig Harris, you're saying Xbox fans hate exclusives, so this isn't a shock. Yeah, the same Xbox fans that were telling you how they can't wait for Bethesda and ABK games to be exclusive, right? They hate exclusives. Yeah, of course they do. Of course they hate exclusives. Damn exclusives. They hate exclusives because fucking Microsoft told them to hate exclusives. They're totally fraudulent, dude. You don't think PS5 single player games are going to be on Xbox? No, I mean, I'm not sure if they are. I think Sony would be taking a bit of a risk if they do that. But again, I'm the same person that thought Helldivers was not going to be on Xbox, and here it is. You didn't play Helldivers 2? Helldivers 2 is good. It's really good. Dude, it's funny. I have some of these dumbasses accusing me of not even playing Helldivers 2. Like, bro, I literally streamed it and platinumed it. It's like, it's the funniest shit. You personally believe that Helldivers will sell 3 million copies at the end of the year? You mean on Xbox alone? Well, dude, so Tarnish, it's funny you mention that because you know what they say? This is all they have now, dude. When I actually decide I'm going to point out your hypocrisy, I'm going to point out the hypocrisy from the other side because God knows that when I come out here and I try to say, well, I did say this and I did say that, and nobody talked about it, nobody pointed it out. I'm pointing out somebody on Twitter who's calling me out, who's starting shit with me, and I'm asking, did you go watch my content? Are you going to watch my content so you can realize what you're saying is false? And they literally laugh at me and say, no, I'm not watching your garbage content. But I'm gonna be gaslit by these people. I don't fucking think so. But you know what they do? All they have left is if I turn it around on them and I say, well, what about this? What about this? Here you go. Here's the hypocrisy. You know, they turn out, why are you console warring? Or they just laugh and they'd be like, LOL, imagine console warring in 2025. And it's like, so let me get this straight. Because Microsoft decided that they can't sell consoles anymore, therefore there's no reason to have exclusives anymore, and they're going full multi-platform, that means everything you did and said previously is undone. You know what? Actually, I can get on with that. Sure. You want to take the high road and you want to walk a better path, and that's fine. But whoa, hold on. You want to do that while simultaneously, when it's convenient for you, still kind of diving in the mud, right? That's what you want to do? Oh, yes, that's what you want to do, and that's what you are doing, and that's what you continue to do, and that's what I'm trying to highlight. I'm simply trying to point out that you see so many of these people that, I mean, they were some of the worst offenders out here, right? And when people are like, here you go, I'm pulling receipts or I'm showing you this, it's like, well, let's move on now. It's over. Sony and Microsoft are shaking hands. Let's move over. It's like, okay. But when it's convenient for them, they still go back to it. And you know how I know? Because it comes my way. That's how I know. Because it comes my way. And that's when I look at it and I'm like, hold on a second. You guys were the ones who told me the console war is over. You know, like you were the ones who told me, and I'm saying okay. So why is it that when things like this roll around, it's clear that the console war isn't over? When things, like, even if you just look at the past couple weeks, the past 2 months, it's like it's clearly not over because these people won't let it be over. They won't let it be over because any opportunity they get to be passive aggressive or just flat out aggressive, they take it. They take it every time, every single time. And it's like, so, like, and to be fair, I'm fine with that too. But it's like, what are we doing here? We're like, the console wars are either on or they're off, right? It's either about the games or it's not. But everybody's just picking and choosing to do and say what they want to do in a moment, and then pivoting, on the dime, at any time when it's convenient. And then when somebody like me tries to call it out, it's like, oh well, you're just console warring, man. It's like, shut the fuck up. I'm not console warring. Like, I'm here telling you that this game sold 600K. That's what I'm doing. I'm sitting here telling you that, and you were getting defensive. And then when I say I don't know that 600K is that good, now I'm console warring. It's dude. This is the insanity, and it's not just Twitter. I see it on my channel too. I see it in my comment sections. I see it anywhere I go. I see it. They structure themselves in a way where you can't win, and more people are on their side, and you'll never win. Exactly. It's exactly that, Devil Shooter. I'm the only one upset today. Maybe I am. But because it's like, dude, it's very telling. It's very telling when somebody like me, I'm like, here you go. Here's how Helldivers 2 sold on Xbox. And I'm met with people flat out being like damn near aggressive towards me. Like I just pissed in their cereal or something. And I didn't say a fucking word. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm literally, here's the chart. I didn't say anything. I didn't give an opinion. I didn't even give a thought. And you know where, I know exactly where that comes from. You know where that comes from? That's called the projection. And all I met with are people projecting their own bullshit that comes from these places, which I tried to identify the other day. But it's like you're saying, Devil Shooter, there's pretty much no winning against it, because it's like they're going to it's the people who are moving the goalposts the most, and I mean the most, are the loudest ones in the room, pointing the finger and trying to divert your attention away. And that's the truth, man. Even with what I saw, I don't know if you guys saw this recently, but there's like this whole hubbub about the PS6S and how all of these Xbox fanboys are like, the PS6S is going to vindicate us and it's going to expose the hypocrisy of the PlayStation fanbase. Like, I have a news fucking flash for you, buddy. Doesn't matter what Sony does with the PS6, the Xbox Series S fucking sucks. Okay? It fucking sucks, and nothing will ever make it not suck. I'm sorry to inform you of that. Look for all the vindication you want. You're going to try to compare a console that comes out a whole generation later that we know nothing about. You're going to label it the PS6S, and you're going to project what you want onto it. That's what you're going to do, because you need to do that, because you want to do that, because you know what that means is I now get to dunk on the ponies. I get to dunk on all the PlayStation fans out there. And it's like, what are you dunking on, man? The Series S is fucking trash. It always has been. It's never not been trash. Does it mean you can't buy it and use it? No. But understand, what you're buying is fucking trash. Flat out. Like, who is out here being like, the Series S is a fantastic console, man? Like, bro, you're talking about these fucking people that were out here marketing, this is a 1440p, 120 FPS machine. It's going to hold its own against the PS5. It's not holding shit. We knew it then. We know it now. And it's fine. Again, it doesn't mean you can't fucking buy it. But you get these fucking freaks out here that are like, yeah, can't wait for that PS6X, baby. Yeah, PS6S is gonna give it to them, and we're gonna let them know. We're gonna let them know. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like, you're just showing how fraudulent you actually are. You're not about getting rid of the console wars. You're not about just enjoying the games. about any of that shit. You're probably guiltier than the person you're fucking accusing. And this is what they do. This is what they do. And then when you point it out, what do they do? We'll just laugh at you. We'll just laugh. Like, yeah, just laugh. Because you know it's true. Because you know it's fucking true. They all know it's true. And the biggest thing they're afraid of is people finding out. That's the biggest thing they're afraid of. People finding out that it turns out you're just as guilty as the rest of them, buddy. You always have been. You always have been. And you think that if you just put a big smile on, and you just kind of pivot anytime you need to, you know, slide around like the fucking snake you are. They think if they do that, it's all good. It's all good. We're right. We're on the right side. Gaming for everybody. Sure, man. Sure. You gotta love it. You gotta love how, like, this shit has entered the most nonsensical territory, and people are just like, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. This is good. This is good. Yeah, this is good. Sure. Generic white male says, okay, I have to ask, when is Rich Rod going to be a co-host for your streams? Yeah, of course he's not here today, right? He's not here today. Animal, the film official, says, oh no, it's Alex called you a grifter and a retard. Oh, you mean the dude who dresses like a fucking dildo with a big shit-eating grin on his face? The dude that dresses like a dildo for his audience and literally behaves like a mentally handicapped individual. Okay, that guy. Sure. He thinks that's something to be proud of, though. Hey, you know I'm the dildo guy, though, right? Yeah, man, we know. It's crazy. It's lunacy. He's just as guilty as everybody else. That dude smiles and he looks at people like me and others out there and says, you're a piece of shit. You're a grifter. You're the idiot. It's like, dude, have you looked at yourself? Oh my God, dude. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like, I wonder if, like, people that he knows in person, like, know he does that, if they know about it, because that's crazy. That's crazy, dude. Well, I mean, that dude, to be honest, he seems like he's this close. If I had to figure out what that dude's angle is, I'm pretty sure he's building up his audience and hyping them up the way he does because he's going to be announcing his OnlyFans. I'm fairly certain. Like, I don't know how people haven't picked up on that yet, but they would love it. Oh, they'd be all over it. In fact, they're probably going to torture him going forward about it. They're going to be demanding it. Demand an OnlyFans from this guy. What are you doing? Look at him. What are you doing? He's slapping his ass for you. Ask for more. Demand more. Bro, Planet Clippy. Yeah, I saw that Digital Foundry, they put the analysis out for Metal Gear Solid Delta. Apparently, Xbox is getting 3 to 5 more frames. It's over. It's over, bro. The more powerful, more expensive console is outperforming the base PS5. No, in all seriousness, though, apparently it's getting 3 to 5 more frames than the Pro. Konami, what the fuck, bro? What are we doing out here? What are we doing? Come on. And we have Steven Leon. Steven Leon coming in with a $50 super chat. And then he drops 20 member gifts on you guys.
Holy shit.
Steven, bro. Thank you so much. Steven Family Man Leon. He's coming in at the craziest time, bro. Good shit. Good shit. He says, bro, this is what these low IQ people This is what they do. They have nothing better to do than rage bait. I've learned to just tune people out. I remember when they stated Hellblade 1 sold over 500 and it was bad. It's amazing how dumb people are. I mean, dude, to be honest, like it's not the stupidity that gets me or how dumb. Like I understand people can be very dumb. And that's always been the case, right? Like Planet Clippy, stop it. We're not doing that. No, don't turn it on me. Do not turn it on me. You can't do that. I'm going to regret this, bro. No, but Steven, it's not that people being dumb or how dumb they can be. It's not that that's surprising. The thing that's surprising to me today is that it's become so like accepted, right? That you can have, like everybody has dumb takes from time to time, but like you can just make things up or explicitly leave things out. And sure, maybe you can't blame people for not knowing. Well, I didn't know they left that out. I didn't know that they didn't give all the context, right? I didn't know that they only showed this thing, but not that thing. But it's like once it's revealed that, yeah, that's what happened. That's what they're doing. You would think that, and it's cognitive dissonance is what it is, Stephen. People become cognitively dissonant because they are put in a position where it's like, okay, well, you have two options. Either step outside the bubble and realize that you kind of fell for it. And you're going to feel a little dumb. You're going to feel maybe frustrated. You're going to feel a mix of negative emotions. But if you accept that and realize that, you know what, there's a better way, like, it is what it is. It's water under the bridge. You move on. It's either that or you have to double and triple down and basically delude yourself. And the reason why people become cognitively dissonant, and it's a thing that happens, so in fact, it happens with cults more than anything, unfortunately. But, people become cognitively dissonant, and it usually happens in mass. It's a large group of people. Because it's like, yeah, man, it's like drinking the Kool-Aid. Like you gotta just accept that, like, nah, what they're saying isn't real. It's not true, or we just reject it. And that's happening. Like in I'm sure you can see it. It's not just here in gaming. It's everywhere, and it's always been there. But it's much more widespread now. That's the problem. It's much more widespread and accepted. And I think that's a major problem. And it is very disheartening to see that this is happening in gaming now, where it's like you have the worst types of people. And I mean the worst, dude. The most deceptive, the most disingenuous, just the most fake people that are like out here talking about doing better, being better, trying to make it seem like, trying to posture themselves as like, I know what's best for the industry, and trust me, we need to do this. And then over and over and over and over again, they just expose themselves and do the opposite. Again, man, it's crazy. And Steven, hold on. I forgot to play your soundbite. Hold on. I always got to make sure to play Steven's soundbite.
Suck on this!
Thank you once again, Steven. I almost forgot. And that's the thing, man. Like, if you want to know, here's the best way I could put it. I'll help try to like bring things into focus. If you want to know how fraudulent most of these people actually are, look no further than the fact that rather than focusing on criticizing the corporation, by actually focusing on the corporation, what the corporation's saying, what the corporation's doing, focusing on the products, focusing on the messaging around those products, they'll cover those things and they'll talk about those things somewhat. A little bit here, a little bit there, but that's not the main focus of what they cover, right? Because if they tried to do that, they'd realize you're going to lose people quickly. Because it turns out that a lot of what you're trying to present, it's not. I don't even want to say that it's not popular opinion. It's just like, dude, a lot of people are actually not nearly as upset about it as you are. Not a lot of people see it nearly as bad as you do. And you're going to realize that very quickly if you just focus on that, right? Um, so what they need to do is they need to focus on things outside of that, but involve that to, if that makes sense. Where it's like, well, we need to focus on what this person said. And I understand that I'm playing into it by even titling my stream this way, but it's because it's like, at what point, like, people need to wake the fuck up and realize that, like, dude, we are not going to have better conversations in this space if people don't start getting more fucking honest. Okay? People are not going to be honest in this space. It's just, that's the fact of the matter. And I think everybody's just kind of accepted that and instead leaned into it. They've leaned into the hypocrisy. They leaned into the nonsense of it all. And they mask it by following the rhetoric of a fucking multi-trillion-dollar company. That's the craziest part. That's why I pointed out that all the people you see today that are like, oh man, let me tell you how great multi-platform gaming is and gaming for everybody, and I can't wait for exclusivity to die and go away. They're the same people that were out here stroking it over the thought of Elder Scrolls 6 being exclusive, over the thought of, oh my God, could Microsoft make Xbox? Could they make Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox? These are the same people, and they are going to come out here and posture themselves. They're going to posture themselves and tell you, no, I'm different. I'm better now than that. And it's like, okay, then why are you still so passive aggressive all the time? Why are you still diving in the mud and rolling around all the time? And now you're making me do it again. That's the whole thing. Now they're making me do it. Because I understand it could be thrown up in my face too, but it's because I'm watching this and I'm like, bro, we're not gonna acknowledge this. We're just gonna pretend. We're all just gonna, and that's why seeing this shit, bring it all the way back to the Helldiver sales, this is what caused it. Because I'm like, what are people talking about? Where they're going to come at me and tell me how amazing 600K sales is now. I'm like, you're all the same motherfuckers that have done nothing this entire generation but tell me how much of a failure every game is that Sony's produced. Returnal, failure. Astrobot, failure. Horizon, failure. Final Fantasy, failure. But then you come out here, and the irony of it all is it's a fucking PlayStation game. I just collapsed in on myself. That's the irony of it all. Notice how now they're going to talk about how good this game is doing, how well it's doing, now that it's on their box. And you will get these same motherfuckers that will try to come after me and be like, well, you did the same thing, MBG. No, I didn't. No, I was out here telling you how amazing Forza's going to do, not on PlayStation. And then it proceeded to do amazing. I was the one that was saying, you know what? I think Hellblade 2 can be, dare I say it, and it's funny because I basically do look like a clown for saying this, but dare I say it, this could be their Last of Us. This could be their Naughty Dog Last of Us moment. I was the one saying those things. Me. Do you think any of these people who are out here, do you think they were saying that shit about Sony's games at any point? No. Nope. No, they'll be the same people that are like, FedEx Delivery Simulator. I ain't playing that shit. Then it comes out on Xbox. It's like, yo, I'm playing that shit. And it's great. Those are the people that are trying to gaslight me, you, and everybody else out there. Console wars are dead, bro. Why are you console warring? What's the Sony versus Microsoft stuff? What are you doing? What's going on? What's going on? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. You will tell me. You will tell me. Because the PS6S is coming. Oh, it's coming. And you're going to let me know. You're going to let everybody know. They're just lying in wait, bro. Like, that's all it is. That's all it is. So you know what I'll do? I will look at you and I will tell you the console wars are over. The console wars are over and the Xbox Series S still fucking sucks. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I don't know what to tell anybody anymore. All right? Xbox Series S is not worth it. People want to talk about the PS5 Pro. Can we talk about how not worth it the Series S is? Series S is like almost $400 without a disc drive too. Oh, we're not going to talk about that. We would rather, we collectively, as in, the people who are definitely not fanboys, definitely not grifter, definitely none of these things, right? Definitely not hypocrites. We'd collectively rather talk about the PS6S. That's what we would rather do. I'm sorry, the what? The PS6S. You didn't hear about it? Oh, no, I heard about a PS6 leak. The documentation, it leaked. So, yeah, PS6S. Oh, no, you're talking about Project Orion, right? The home PlayStation 6 console? That's going to be very powerful, very capable. Oh, no, you're not talking about that. Oh, you're talking about the PlayStation handheld. Yeah, that's the PS6S. Wait, who said that? No, that's not on the documentation. There's no word on whether it's going to be mandated. Well, where's this coming from? Oh, that's right. Moore's Law's Dead said he thinks Sony should make a PS6S. But you want to position it as if it's confirmed. Got you. Yeah, it's like, name it the Xbox PS6 Series S2. There you go. Sony, take that one for free. It's crazy, man. Damn, Chris White, he can't catch a break. He's trying to get a gifted sub. He's trying to get a membership. Now listen, Garrett, see, that's the thing. I've made it clear. Well, they want me to lose my mind? Well, they have won. They've won. But here's the thing, Garrett, like I've been saying, man. Yo, Chris, that's some crazy shit right there. That's like YouTube's trolling us now. That's like YouTube's trolling us. What? I'm sorry, Chris. I'm sorry you have to bear witness to that. What I was going to say to you, Garrett, is that I've stated numerous times that if we get confirmation, when and if, and it's a big if we get confirmation that Sony's going to mandate, oh, you need to develop your game for the handheld in order for it to be released on the PS6. If they pull an actual Series S move, we will talk about it. And believe me when I tell you, we're going to shit on Sony for that. If that's the big question in the room, is like, you're going to be upset at Sony? Like, yes, we are. Because we were upset at Microsoft too. And Steven Leon comes in. He's an absolute monster today. Steven Leon comes in and drops 20 more member gifts for you guys, dropping them from the sky. He's doing it. He's doing it. The heavy lift.
Good God.
That's how I feel on the inside. Every time I read a post on Twitter. Every time I check a reply to one of my tweets. Steven, thank you so much, man. And just like that, he brings us to 50. We'll move it up a notch to 75, and we cap it out at 100. But 50 is such a crazy amount, dude. Thank you so much for that. Feed Boss, I did give him some treats already. I only gave him a few, though. Maybe we can give him more. Boss, you want a couple more treats? You both want some. Steven, thank you so much for the incredible support, bro. I'm totally fan funded, you know? People like Steven who are dropping such great support and many others here. You make it possible for me to do this. I really do appreciate it. You've seen Dumbass's post that Helldivers 2 has been selling like hotcakes on Xbox. Well, you know what really gets to me, Beast Mode? And it's funny because like I know a lot of you guys here see it too. I know I like make jokes with the rich rods and stuff like that, but a lot of you guys see the bullshit as well, and it bothers you, and you want me to be like, you want me to call it out more. And before I continue, bro, we have if then statement coming in with a follow up 20 bomb, another 20 members gifted from if then statement out of nowhere. He said, "Yo, Steven, Hellbound, Corey, they got us to 50. I'm gonna help us get to 75." He drops 20 more member gifts for you guys, bringing us to 70 on the day. And somehow, some way, just like that, we are just 5 away now from hitting the third goal, and then maybe getting to that coveted 100. We might be able to do it today, guys. That's crazy. If then statement.
Holy shit.
Thank you so much, dude. That was genuinely surprising. Definitely, I don't think I played on screen. Good shit, dude. Good shit. Yeah, we'll have more members content coming. Probably gonna do some more Metal Gear gameplay. Might do that for members. I got to do a members lounge soon though. It's been too long. I apologize. Thank you guys for being patient with me. We're gonna do another members lounge coming up. Lost Isley with a super chat says, "Do you think Sony will bother releasing more games outside of the live service on Xbox if Helldivers 2 can't even break 1 million sales?" That's the question that I would like an answer to, and I don't. My gut tells me, Lost Isley, my gut tells me that the only reason Sony would do that, because let's face it, Sony's got to know. Sony has to be aware that if you announce something like Spider-Man or Returnal or any of these games or God of War going to Xbox, they got to know what that's going to look like. Like, that's going to be a holy war, bro. That's going to be a bloodbath. That's going to be crazy. But we also have to keep in mind, and I have kept in mind very much so when talking about Sony and Microsoft, that they are corporations and they are businesses and they will make business-oriented decisions, and they will not necessarily consider the emotionality or the overreactions, right? But that's the thing. Would it really be an overreaction if Sony signaled that we're going to start porting our single-player games to Xbox? No, I don't think it would be an overreaction. And I think anybody, and I realize like the mistake I've made is maybe I've downplayed it too much, where I make it seem like, oh, what's the big deal? But it's like, no, it is a big deal. And it's disingenuous of me to pretend it's not. That's not to say, I still exist in this awkward space with exclusivity, because it's like there are benefits to it. There is a good side to exclusivity. Doesn't matter what these people want to scream at you. They want to scream and spit in your face like I am now about how exclusivity is the bane of gaming. And it's like, then you say that, and yet you tell me that you bought a Switch because of exclusivity. I'm sitting here telling you I bought a PS4 because of exclusivity. The good side is, frankly, that well, obviously, it gives a platform an identity. But if you say, well, that's just superficial, it's just an identity, then at the very least, At the very least, from a development perspective, we talked about the potential upsides to it, where you only have to develop for one platform. It's easier to optimize for a singular console. We talked about this. And I'm going to be honest, I do throw the nostalgia in there. I will throw the nostalgia card because I can't do it, man. I can't sit here and pretend that it's not a real thing. I can't sit here and pretend that when I look back at PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo, that exclusivity hasn't straight up defined every one of those brands. They have. I can see the upside to exclusivity going away too. I can see the upside. Yo, hold on. Who's calling the members lounge a scam? Who said that? Who the fuck said that? Um Luckily I'm not. Luckily I'm not. Um It's Beast Mode says people shit on Astrobot sales, but then praise 600K sold on Xbox. LMAO, I guess it's because the bar is set that low for Xbox. Um, Orphan's like, check your dislikes, bro. Hold on. Let's see. What's up? Oh, yeah, there it is. Dislikes went up, bro. The dislikes went. Make sure you hit that dislike button. I need the engagement. Engagement helps. Yeah, I'm with Gaming Survivor, bro. The members lounge is where the funnest shit happens. Now, I know I've been lacking in the past couple weeks, and I apologize for that. But we still have plenty of members lounges that if you're like somebody who's a new member or you got a membership renewal, you probably have some stuff to catch up on. But we have more coming. Well, listen. When it comes to what Sony's going to do with their single player games, I don't know. All I do know is that, yeah, man, to sit here and act like 600K is like, oh my God, that's so good. Like, I think people lose the plot. They have lost the plot. I have people out here. I want to read this fucking Twitter post to you because it just goes to show how insane it gets. So I put out the data saying it sold 600K. Somebody says, and I'm sorry. Like, this person, I'll be honest, I don't think that they were trying to be like snarky or anything. But it's just the way that I read this. They said 600,000 copies on an install base of 28 million consoles in 3 days is a big win. And I just felt like I had to inform this person, like, this is where the toxic positivity comes in. Where it's like, we have talked about toxic positivity and how it's not good. It's not good because it leads to deluded thinking, and actually it does lead to cognitive dissonance. And we want to avoid these things. I had to point out to this person, like, Xbox selling 28 million consoles in no way, shape, or form is a W. Under any circumstances, is that a W? Selling 2%, selling a game to 2% of that 28 million is also not a W. Neither of these things are W's. Now, granted, if you were to say, well, what about from Sony's perspective? Is there any W to be had? The only W that Sony might extract from this, and I think it would be one of desperation. I'm going to be honest. If Sony's this desperate for another 600K, it's a weird look. It's a weird look. You're talking about a company that has sold 10 to 15 million copies on their own, right? Of some of their other games. If this is what they're doing, and you know, it's really just about, well, that's 600 more. That's 600K more than we had before, so we'll take it. That is a W. That's more money in our pockets. Not as much as we maybe thought, but we'll take it. That's 600,000 more people to sell microtransactions to. From that business-oriented standpoint, I understand. I can understand that. But from my perspective, I don't see 28 million consoles sold as a W. And I don't see failing to sell to even 3 or 4% of those people, selling to 2% of those people. I don't see that as a W either. Microsoft doesn't see that as a W, by the way. Microsoft was the one who told you that that's not enough for us. So don't take it from me. It's not a W. And this is what I mean about people being toxically positive, where it's like, if you want to celebrate that this game is on another platform, celebrate away. If you want to be happy about it and excited and say, this is great, go ahead. I do too. I hope Xbox players are enjoying it. But when the rubber hits the road and we get the data points and we see 600K sold for a game that in total sold 17 to 18 million copies, I have to question, what the hell was the point of this again? Now, if I was able to get on the phone with Sony and they were able to explain to me, well, here's why we did it, because here's how much more, here's the money we made in the last 3 days. And I would say, okay, so it was worth it. And they're like, yes. Okay, fine. I don't run Sony. Again, I'm not the one who makes the decisions. But it's exactly what Beast Mode pointed out, is that you see the same people out here jumping all over Astrobot sales, but talking about how amazing 600K suddenly is for one of the biggest games ever released. Buy some, yeah, there you go. I'll buy some shares, Irfan, and I'll get on that call and I'll ask. Let's not pretend that Sony isn't pleased. The porting costs were likely minimal.
WHTS got me PO as a minority grow up with a single ma and being raised in the hood. My MA got PS2. Seeing the prices increase, sad face emoji, like WHT about me.
Perfect image with what you're saying here, buddy. Yeah, no, the price increases suck. Flat out. The PS5 should not be $550. The Xbox Series S should not be $400. These consoles were cheaper when they first came out than they are now. It fucking sucks. There's reasons for it. We know the reasons. They're pretty much undeniable. But yeah, man, the way a console generation is supposed to go, in my mind, is the further we get into it, the cheaper the consoles become, not the more expensive. It's disappointing. It's disheartening. And I don't blame anybody for seeing that and being like, what the fuck? I don't blame anybody. But when we take a step back and we look at what's going on, economically speaking, across the board, I don't know. To be honest, I don't think anybody actually knows. I think we're all just along for the ride. And I think we're all just hoping that the damage is minimal. If I had to speak on behalf of almost everybody, I think that's pretty much it. We're all along for the ride, and we're all hoping that the damage isn't that bad. That we can weather the storm and things will get better. Is that going to happen? I have absolutely no idea. I don't know that anybody has an actual answer to that. But what I do know is we are going to find out together. That's for sure. Time will move forward. Things will change for better or for worse. And we're going to see it. We're going to see it unfold. I wanted to... So to get back to what that person was saying, that, like, let's not pretend Sony isn't pleased. I mean, look, man. Look. At the end of the day, I truly do view the competition between Sony and Microsoft as over. I mean that. I mean that. Like, in fact, the only reason I'm unhinged today and losing my shit is because I keep encountering, like, people keep coming at me, bro. Whether it be through fucking clips, whether it be through replies. And I'm like fed up with it. Like, I really am, like, at a breaking point with it, where it's like, what do you want from me? Like, I know what you want, and you're never going to fucking get it. So shove it up your ass. That's my answer to them. But my extended answer is, like, if I sit here and I say, like, okay, you know what? Fine. The console wars are over. I won't even say Sony won, because that's just toxic. We'll just simply say it's over. Microsoft is now more of a publisher. Sony's starting to get more comfortable publishing their stuff in other places. They're shaking hands. They're sharing games, right? Why is it that I can say that and be like, okay, then let's take it from here then. And every time, I swear to God, man, every time I'm trying to take 1, 2, 3 steps forward, I got all these people. I feel like Sam out here, bro, being grabbed by the BTs, and I got to tap circle. They're trying to drag me under. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes there's a fucking void out. And that's what this is, because it's like, bro, this is crazy. Dude, Mr. B, I'm going to have the platinum in the next 24 hours. I'm going to have it in the next 24 hours. See, it's in my head. And I'm just tired of it, man. Like, I'm tired. Like, this is why I feel like I have to yell. This is why I feel like I have to express in this way, because it's like the people that are there, they've created a narrative around me and this channel and my audience. They've created a narrative around it that when I decide I'm not rolling in that mud, dude. Like, I'm not trying to get involved in the drama bullshit. Like, we're just going to talk, and we're going to be reasonable, and we're going to consider all sides. I don't know. My only expectation in doing that is, so just leave me alone and let me do my thing. No, that's not, I guess I'm foolish for thinking that, because what they're going to do is actually, we're only going to show one side of what you say, and we're going to convince all these people out here that that's what you are and that's what you do. And even when you come out here and you prove that that's not true, we're just going to say it is. And they're going to take our word over yours. I'm going to say, how can that be possible when I have the proof in front of me? And you say, because look at this tweet you put out on Christmas morning, 2021. Yeah, that's what they do. And I will say to that, okay, well, why is it okay for you to cherry pick that from years ago? But if I cherry pick something else from years ago that negates that, it doesn't matter. This is what I'm talking about, dude. Like, this is why I will tell you, I do believe Helldivers is a success on Xbox. This is why I will tell you that, because I actually do. I understand how Sony's operating in 2025. And I do believe that they look at that 600K and they see dollar signs. I do believe that Sony looks at that and they say, that's 600K more than we had previously. We'll take it. Because Sony doesn't view the Xbox platform as competition anymore. Certainly not for their live service games. That's how I honestly feel about it. But again, I am the same person that when I come out here and I say, I think Sony views Astrobot as a success, what am I met with? What am I met with? I met with all these fucking people coming out of the woodwork telling me, no, it's not. 1.5 million? Are you kidding me? So that's not a success. Forza outsold that on PS5. This is what I'm met with. And then when I react to it, when I react to that, I'm the one that's made to be the fool, right? Where it's like, again, it goes back to what Devil Shooter said. They're playing a game that is unwinnable for people like me and many others out there. They're playing a game that's unwinnable for people who actually decide we're going to be reasonable about this. Let's consider all aspects. I had somebody say to me on Twitter today, they're like, you don't go on and debate these people. So, that's kind of weak, bro. And it's like, what do you think's going to come out of that? Like, it's like a real question. Like, what do you think's going to come out of debating with these people who have postured themselves where it's like, this is what they need to do every single time, consistently, without fail, in order to succeed? There's only one thing that's going to come out of that: more fucking drama. And they would bank on that. They would absolutely bank on that. More drama. So it's hard not to go on these rants sometimes, man. It's hard not to get very frustrated, because it's just like, dude, I'm out here saying like maybe it's all relatively successful. And yet I'm walking around and I'm seeing clips of myself everywhere, pulling certain shit. I'm seeing people trying to dunk on me in my fucking tweets. And it's like, bro, what are you why are you cherry picking like this? And yeah, that's why I do feel the need to get defensive. I do feel the need to get defensive and turn to these people and say, fuck you. Like just a big fuck you, you know? It is their nature. Debate bro culture. Debate bro culture. It's crazy, dude. Like some of this shit I see. Like, dude, check this out. I quote tweeted, I need to know where Rich Rod is, first of all. Where is Rich Rod? Exactly, digital dude. They've already done it. They've already done it, digital dude. And that's the thing. And that's because that's what they're going for. They want to drag you the fuck down, man. Get as low as we are. Get all the way in the mud. Get neck deep in that mud, bro. The one day Rich Rod needs to be here. Check this out. I came across this post from Colt Eastwood. He posted it on August 28th. And he says, I can't wait for the PS6 Series S and handheld to totally not hold back the next generation or be a pain for developers. And then he posts a picture of, oh no, it's dildo, right? Like, like, yeah, they're not. This is why it's so funny to me that like that dude gets called an Xbox fanboy all the time and denies it. It's like, bro, you have the biggest Xbox fanboy cupping your balls, bro. Are you kidding me? Okay, if you say so, buddy. If you say so. But they'll just look at each other and be like, nah, it's not what they say it is. I promise. Anyway, this is what Colt Eastwood says. He says, I can't wait for the PS6 Series S and handheld to totally not hold back the next generation and be a pain for developers. Right? Now, what Colt Eastwood won't tell you, he won't fucking tell you, he won't tell you in a tweet, and I probably won't fucking tell you in his content either, is that, dude, it's not called a PS6S. Okay? There's your tweet insinuates that there's two separate devices, that there's a PS6S and a PlayStation handheld. Wrong. There's one device. It's the PlayStation handheld. We're hearing that it will be able to be dockable. We're hearing nothing about a mandate. Not a word about a mandate. And he won't even tell you what I will tell you and what anybody who actually pays attention will tell you, and that is that Moore's Law is Dead said that he thinks Sony should make a PS6S. That's all he said in his leak video. And this is what I mean about these people, where this is the same guy that's out here trying to tell you the console wars are over, exclusivity doesn't matter, blah, 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 blah. The same guy. The same guy. But then we get the minions that come out. I call this out and I say, I thought the console wars were over. Then the minion comes out and says, he just pointed out the hypocrisy, LOL. What hypocrisy? You're telling me now we are classifying literal misinformation as calling out hypocrisy? That's what we're doing now. There's no word of a PS6S. There's just assumptions from eager people, eager fanboys like this that want it. You want it to be true. You're dying for it to be true. You can't wait for it to be true. In fact, you're so eager, you just gotta say it's true now. You gotta say it's true now. All I'm trying to point out is that, you know what? There isn't even anything wrong with this. If this is how you want to go about it this way. But do not fucking posture. Do not have the balls to posture yourself like you are above or better, because you're not shit. Okay? You're another fucking pig in the mud. That's what you are. That's what you've always been. That's what you will always be. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. That's the reality. That's the reality. And if people are too dumb to see that, well, then I guess it's on them. Because I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. I'm trying to show them. But, just keep watching out of context clips with me, I guess. That's fine. Garrett, you're saying, check my last message. Hold on. Hold on, Garrett. See if it'll let it come through or not. It was held for review. Garrett, bro. You put we'll leave it to Rich Rod, Garrett. This is a good one. This is a good one. Oh my God, man. There's no room for a PS6S. Well, see, that's another thing, Titus. Like, dude, listen, are there crazed, maybe that's what you are, RBG, you're a crazed PlayStation fanboy, but are there like radical, insane PlayStation fanboys that are like stupid and annoying? Yes, there are. Trust me, I encounter that too. And I do wish those dudes would chill out and wisen up the same way, where it's like, I'm going to tell you a secret, okay? It's not really a secret, but for some people, it might seem like a secret. The PS6S already exists, okay? See, I get frustrated because I, as well as many others, we nipped this in the bud a while ago, but here we are. One more time around, man. It's always got to be one more time around. The PS6S is the PS5. Well, how do you know this? Maybe this is misinformation, MBG. Well, I will tell you up front. This is not officially confirmed, and there is no documentation that claims this. Instead, we're going to use common sense, okay? Going into this generation, there was an uncertainty. There were question marks around cross-gen support. Is Microsoft going to support the Xbox One when the Series consoles come out? What about Sony? Are they just going to make all their games exclusive to PlayStation 5 like they've done every other generation when they move over? And I took the stance of I don't think they should do cross-gen. I made that abundantly clear. I said Sony shouldn't do cross-gen. They should go PS5 only and have their developers right out of the gate take full advantage of the PS5 and give people a real reason to upgrade to the PS5. This is the stance I took. And I even criticized Microsoft. See, this is where people think I don't take my L's. Like, dude, I think I take my L's too frequently, and people just take that and they're like, well, we're still going to weaponize it against you. I was against what Microsoft was saying. Microsoft was the one saying that they were going to support cross-gen with the Xbox One. They were going to support cross-gen, and I came out here, I was making content and making videos saying, I think this is dumb, this is a mistake, why would they do this? They're going to hold the generation back. Then they announced the Series S, and I say that's going to hold the generation back. And again, the Series S still sucks. I don't care what anybody says. Like, this generation would have been better off without it. And I'll always maintain that. Oh, hold on. Saying we got buffering. I swear, man, when I'm ranting my hardest, that's when we get the buffering. I'm just trying to get confirmation that we're good, that we're not. We're good? Oh, okay. All right. You guys are saying it's good. So my whole stance was completely against cross-gen. And then Sony pulled a fast one on us where they were like, actually, we are doing cross-gen. Now, granted, this is where the context matters. There's two important things to understand here. That if people are not willing to bring this into the conversation, they are not worth listening to. Period. End of discussion. Because if they're not willing to bring these facts into the conversation, that means they don't want to have an honest conversation. Okay? Fact number one, the pandemic. Okay? Like, there's no denying that for both Microsoft and both Sony, they couldn't produce enough units. That's just a fact. No one saw that coming. Literally nobody. Okay? So whether they were planning on doing cross-gen or not, that threw a stick in the spokes, right? The second thing is when we talk about cross-gen versus the PS4 and the PS5 versus the PS6 and the PS5, we're talking about Jaguar CPU cores. We are talking about CPU cores that by the time they came out on the PS4 were already considered outdated and technology that's from like 2012. Okay? That needs to be understood because as we get closer to the PS6, those Jaguar CPU cores become the bane of the PS6's existence. They're close to being the bane of the PS5's existence, but they are truly the bane of the PS6's existence. And the same goes for the Xbox One and the Jaguar CPU cores that are in that console to where the Series X is now, but especially whatever Xbox Magnus is going to be. Okay? I'm highlighting these two things because it turns out I was wrong about Sony with cross gen. And I've talked about it many times over. I said that Sony shouldn't do it. They're not doing it. I'm celebrating the fact that they're not doing it. And then they did it. Horizon cross gen, God of War cross gen, so many games cross gen. Granted, they had Demon Souls and Ratchet and Clank and Returnal. So they did hold up their end of the bargain where they did have games that were not cross gen. But the big ones like GT and stuff and God of War, they were. And I was like, okay. And you know what I saw? I looked and I'm like, I was wrong. You know what? Actually, maybe I had this lingering fear about cross gen that was maybe overhyped. And to be fair, I've said this as well. Even though I don't like the Series S, I think it's a shit console. I've even went out of my way to say numerous times that maybe I was too fearful about the Series S. As in, I thought it was actually going to completely ruin the generation. And I said that too. You know, maybe I was a bit too fearful about this stuff. Now, granted, people will look at that and they're like, well, now you're moving the goalposts and now you're flip-flopping because, well, you can't ever, people can't ever change their minds. And that's fine. I don't expect, it's fine. It's like if you want to use that as, again, a weapon, so it's like, well, you can't have a different opinion. You're locked into that. Fine. I'm not sure why people would listen to you anyway, if that's how your mind is geared, but whatever. So the generation goes on, we get way more cross gen than I was expecting, and I realize, you know what? I'm not really seeing the things that I thought were going to be problematic are not presenting themselves. I didn't have a problem playing God of War Ragnarok, even though it was on PS4. So fast forward to where we are now with the PS5, and we talk about the PS6. Things have changed so much, so dramatically, that my opinion on what's going to happen, my prediction for what I believe is going to happen is quite literally the opposite. I now firmly believe that every game Sony makes is going to be cross-gen with the PS5. That's not because I'm afraid of what people are going to say. No, it's because I'm actually fairly certain that's what's going to happen. And I'm trying to use my common sense to come to this conclusion. If you look at Sony going in from the PS4 to the PS5, common sense would tell you, again, with the unpredictable pandemic, Sony has never done a cross-gen generation. Why would they do it now? Who's banking on that? Nobody's. Even Jim Ryan said, we believe in generations. Nobody assumed that's what Sony was going to do because they've never done it. Now, granted, the fatal flaw is 100% buying into that assumption, which we have learned all throughout this generation. You cannot be 100% certain because there's a good chance you're going to be wrong, right? That we've seen that time and time again. So that's why I'm not going to say I'm 100% certain about this prediction. I'm 85% certain, which is a lot. I'm 85% certain that every game Sony makes next generation is going to be cross-gen. And I'm 95% certain, maybe even 98% certain, that every game for at least the first 3 to 5 years, maybe 3 to 4 years, realistically, every single game is going to be cross-gen. I feel very, very sure of that. And the reason being is going to be because people are going to have a harder time than ever before asking themselves, what's the difference between this game running on the PS6 versus it running on the PS5 or PS5 Pro? That's going to be very, 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 very hard. That's going to be very hard to showcase. And because of that, I feel like there's going to be this general acceptance across all publishers and even Sony that we should just let people buy our games on any PlayStation console that they're available on. And we should just let our because think about it. Think about it. If you were to think about Spider-Man 3 being a PS6 title, maybe around the launch, what is it going to do on a PS6 that it cannot do on the PS5? What could it do on the PS6 that it would make it literally not possible on the PS5? I don't know. And I don't think there is really much of anything. You could say maybe they'll do amazing ray tracing, you know? But again, AI. And we would have to ask ourselves how far that would go. What would the AI bring to the table for a game like Spider-Man 3 that it would break the game and make it unplayable if it wasn't available? This is why I feel very convinced that I think the PS6 is going to have a shit ton of bells and whistles, and it's going to be real nice. I don't think we're going to see a game on the PS6 that anybody sees and says that's not possible on the PS5 or the PS5 Pro. And if that does happen, I would be stunned. I'm serious. I would be like, holy shit, I did not expect that. And that would be amazing because that would mean I'm genuinely surprised. Like, I'm genuinely like, wow, I didn't think Sony could do this. And maybe they can pull that off. That's why I'm leaving that 5 to 10% window of like, maybe I will be wrong. I'm not going to talk in absolutes anymore, except when it comes to the Xbox Series S. We have Sean Mitchell. Thank you so much for the super chat. You're saying, I don't know why you give some of these fanboys the time of day, bro. They are mentally ill. Every tweet from Sony Studios is now a hint that the full slate is coming. It's tiring now, man. I know. And you know what? To be honest, Sean, I have tried so hard for such a long time to just not pay attention. But it's just, even like I said, man, that tweet that I put out the other day, it kind of broke me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, where it's like somebody tried dunking on me because I said something about Forza Horizon 6, and everybody was agreeing with them and trying to dogpile me. And I'm like, I'm going to show you factual evidence. And this is where what you say about them being mentally ill, you're absolutely correct. They are mentally ill and they need to seek help, right? Because they're causing chaos for everybody else. Where I will present to you and everybody else irrefutable proof and evidence, factual evidence that what you just said is wrong and you look like a fool. So what should happen now is you should retract. You should walk away. At the very least, you should just disappear, right? If you don't want to admit you were wrong. Instead, they come back even harder, just saying, nah. And I'm like, dude, no. See, that's not how this is going to play out. I'm not going to accept that. And nobody should. Nobody should. Because that's the problem. Too many people these days have to accept that bullshit. Fuck that. Fuck that. Nobody should have to accept that. And I don't know what happened to our culture. I don't know what happened to our society or to our culture that these things are just so more than ever widely accepted. Again, cognitive dissonance, man. That is the mental illness that these people suffer from. But I want to believe that, what comes around goes around. What goes around comes around, right? I want to believe, Sean. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like I'm waiting around and I'm like, is anybody going to say something or do something? No. I'm like, there's no way it's got to be me. Like, there's no way. I don't know. Saying people dunk on you not because of society, but because of your takes. Well, see, Brian, that's the funny thing. I get that. I've been dunked on many times for my takes, and I accept that. That aspect, I accept. The thing I don't appreciate is after they're done dunking and high-fiving each other, when there's something else that comes out that's like, oh, he said this too. He posted that too. Or he admitted he was wrong. Like, for example, Metal Gear recently, dude. You get these fucks that'll come out, and because I'm like, I don't think it's going to be that bad. I understand why people are upset, but I just want to enjoy the game, and maybe it's not going to be as bad. And I think maybe sometimes we just gotta get over this stuff and just learn to enjoy games. And then I played it, and I'm like, you know what? It's worse than I thought. I was wrong. I gave Konami. I put too much faith in Konami. Now, again, does it mean I'm not playing it? No. But I admit I was wrong, and like, yeah, this is pretty fucking bad. Stuff like that, and that's what's bothersome to me is that once, like, they'll be quick. I mean, like, they'll be on you like a fly on shit, dude. To humiliate you, to dunk on you, to shit all over you. And when you take a step back and say, you know what? Yeah, I think I was wrong about that. I think I was wrong about that. An actual rational and reasonable response from the other person would be, all right, man, you know what? Maybe I was a little bit too harsh. I appreciate you seeing it from a different perspective. But they won't do that. They won't do that because what does that show? It shows that they're reasonable. It shows that they're willing to actually, it means they're willing to humanize people, is what it means. It means they're willing to actually say, you know what, you're a person, you made a mistake, and I was really aggressive. Like, I was mega aggressive to you. Like, I humiliated you. And you made a mistake, and you realized that. And you apologize, or you said you were wrong, or whatever it might be. You took the L. That's what it would do. That's what it would mean you're humanizing the people or the groups that we're not supposed to feel for them. They're subhuman. That's what's going on. That's what sickens me. That's what sickens me. And this is why I see the way people get. And Sean, to answer your question, like, why do I give these people the time of the day? Because I see how fucking nasty they get. That's why. Because they get so nasty that it's like, and they don't care. That's the craziest thing. They don't care at all. And I'm like literally, we have to be just a little bit better than this. I can't accept that this is what this space has turned into. And I'm not the only one. That's the thing. I see so many other people out there that they recognize this. They see this and they're like, what the fuck is this, bro? But everybody's a little bit, I don't want to say afraid, but like, they're cautious. They're skeptical and they're cautious because it's something so insane. It's something so out there in bizarro land that it's one of these things where it's like, be careful when staring into the abyss, bro. Be careful when fighting beasts or whatever, or you'll become the beast, whatever it is, like that saying, those sayings are applicable because it's like, yeah, dude, you got to be careful. And this is where I think your super chat's coming from, Sean, where you're like, be careful, bro. Like, don't dwell. Like, these people are mentally ill, and you're gonna get sucked up by it. You're gonna become part of it, and it's true. It's true. It's definitely, like, there are times it definitely gets to me, man. And I have no problem admitting that I'm a human being, and I see what people say, and I feel things when people say stuff to me. I'm not a psychopath. I have feelings and emotions, and it's just like, I just question how people can disregard so much of that so quickly. Like, they can just throw it out. And I question why. And when I really start to figure something out and ponder, like, how could a person operate like that? I see what's there. And what I see is something very grotesque, very unsettling, very disturbing. And yeah, it gets me to kind of where you're at right now, Sean, with what you're saying, where it's like, I want nothing to do with this. And believe me, I do. Believe me, I want nothing to do with it. I just can't help the fact that, like, dude, these people, again, every time I try to take 1, 2, 3, 4 steps forward, they're clawing at my ankles. Sometimes they grab a hold, and I'm like, what? I'm just trying to walk my path here, man. But, and I know people, it's like, the victim complex. Like, no, dude, I'm not going to be gaslit by that bullshit either. That's the last thing I'll say. And I'll continue with what I was saying about cross-gen. I refuse to be gaslit by these sick people who are like, you're just playing the victim, man. That's all you know how to do. You got a real bad victim complex. Like, I'm sorry, have you not fucking taken a look around? Oh, wait, I know you have because you're literally following these people. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, I'm just saying, man, like, one day it's, man, that's a really bad take. That's a borderline dumb take. One day it's that, the next day it's, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit, and you're the scum of gaming, and you shouldn't, and then it's that. And it's like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? I'm telling you. We got to be careful, man. This is a slippery slope. But getting back to what I was saying about cross-gen, I feel as though Sony is going to fully embrace cross-gen next gen. And because of that, I feel confident in saying, and I could be wrong, and I think a lot of people want me to be wrong, I feel confident in saying that the PS5 is going to be the PS6S. It's not going to officially be called that, but every game that's being developed, the lowest common denominator in the console realm anyway, is going to be the PS5. And if I am wrong about that, like I said, I will be surprised. This is why I think Sony is comfortable. Sony is comfortable making this PlayStation handheld and allowing it to be docked. I think they're comfortable with this because I think Sony's anticipating that. I stated that Sony, you have to ask yourself, why did Microsoft need to mandate parity with the Xbox Series S? Well, I think we know why, because it's part of the Series S family, right? But this is why I tried to call out the other facts earlier, where it's like we need to pay attention to the difference. Think about the power difference, or just the general difference between an Xbox One console, what's inside of it, and an Xbox Series S. And the Xbox Series S is not equivalent to an Xbox One. That's important to understand. It's not equivalent to an Xbox One. And this is also part of a generation where it seems like people do want to move on. Going from the Xbox One generation to the Xbox Series generation, there was still this feeling in the air that people wanted to move on. They want to move forward. Again, the cross-gen expectation was not there, and it was not strong. Now, I feel like this is important to highlight because that was where we were in 2019, 2020. You look at where we are now in 2025, these consoles aren't even expected to come until 2027. It's a complete night and day difference. You are seeing, ask anybody, and you will see that if you ask like 100 people, how excited are you for the PS6? Do you want a PS6? I'm going to tell you at least 75. Maybe that's a high number. Maybe like 50 to 60% of those people will tell you absolutely not. I'm perfectly fine with my PS5. This generation feels like it didn't even start yet. I'm in no rush to get a PS5, especially PS5 Pro buyers. I bet you, at least a portion of them. That's not where we were going into the PS5 generation. So when you consider this, what does it tell you? What does it tell you? Like when you just think about next gen, what is your general feeling? You know what my general feeling is? My general feeling is intrigue. I feel like the majority of people are intrigued by what the PS6 could be, what it could offer. But outside of that intrigue, I think generally speaking, people feel I'm trying to think of the right word. They feel, I would say, just kind of indifferent. apathetic. I think that's how most people feel, and some people feel just straight up annoyed. But generally, I think people are just like, bro, the PS5 is fine. Like, I need devs to do a better job with the PS5 right now. People are, they're feeling annoyed by Unreal Engine 5 and lack of optimization and all this stuff. And we have Paul Ganell coming in. Paul Ganell's coming in. He's keeping the member train rolling, and he says, I'm going to drop 5 members and get us to 75 today. And just like that, we are on our way to 100. We cap the memberships out at 100. We can always go beyond 100 if we want, but that's like the high watermark goal for any stream we do. So, Paul, thank you so much for that, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good stuff. I just figure when you consider this, like, Sony is aware of this. Sony is aware that there is going to be less excitement going into the PS6 than there was the PS5 and the PS4. Absolutely. Like, it's just, there's nothing Sony, I'm not saying there's nothing they can do about it, but they won't be able to overcome the fact that people are going to want to stay on their PS5. And the whole idea, by the way, if we refer back to Moore's Law is Dead and his leaks, the whole idea is that Sony is desperate to get people off of PS4. They're hoping that the PS6 will finally convince PS4 players to either upgrade to the PS5 or to the PS6. There's no talk about moving people from the like, of course they know they're going to move people from the PS5, but it just seems like Sony is now reaching a point of acceptance where it's going to be a lot more difficult to convince a PS5 buyer to get a PS6 than it was to convince a PS4 buyer to get a PS5. And there's many reasons for that. One of the reasons is, like I said earlier, you look at Sony trying to show the difference between a PS5 game and a PS5 Pro game, and people are like, what? Like, people are making fun of it. I don't think it's going to be, the PS6 it'll have a whole new CPU, whole next generation architecture, so you will see the difference more clearly. And Garrett, I agree with that. You're saying not if you make PS6 games exclusive. There's nothing here right now that makes me feel as though that is something I should anticipate. Do I think Sony should do it? Yes. Do I think it would be a good idea to sell more PS6s? Yes. But given the leadership that's in place right now and given how they're handling all of this stuff, I'm not anticipating that. I have very little confidence. Like, I feel like there's like a 20% chance they'll have PS6 exclusives, 20 to 25% chance, maybe less than that. Maybe like 15%. I don't have that level of confidence, man. Because I just don't know. I don't know what to look at. I don't know what to look at to like place my confidence on. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, here's this, and this is why I feel confident that Sony's going to have PS6 exclusives. I understand that there are PS5 exclusives this gen with like Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet and whatnot, but even then, those games went to PC, and Spider-Man went to PC very quick. And I know that we have like Ghost of Yotei right now, but I don't know, man. I could be totally wrong. And the thing is, if I'm wrong, then it means Sony is actually taking much more of a traditional approach than I would have thought. But to bring this all back to the shit that I was, spazzing over earlier, it's that you have these people that are running. They're already running with this notion of a PS6S, and the handheld that they're referring to, which they're being disingenuous calling it a PS6S, is, again, it's a handheld that when it's docked, it will be the same power level of a PS5, and we don't know if it's going to be mandated to develop for. We don't know the answer to that question. But I'm actually ahead of these people. I'm ahead of these people, and that's the irony. That's the irony, is I'm here to tell you the PS5 exists, buddy. PS5 ain't going nowhere. We're in 2025. We are 5 years into the PS5 generation, and we are still getting a Call of Duty releasing on PS4. You better believe by the time we get to 2034, Call of Duty Black Ops 14 or whatever the hell it's going to be. That's an exaggeration, but like Call of Duty Black Ops 10, yes, that's going to be a PS5 game. And yes, Modern Warfare 8 is going to be a PS5 game in 2035. This is what's going to happen. I'm telling you, like it's right here in front of us. You can take anything that you've seen supported for cross-gen this generation and multiply it by like 2 times. So if it took Sony 3 years to stop cross-gen for PS5 from PS4 to PS5, it's probably going to take them at least 5 to 6 years. If it takes a publisher 4 years, it's probably going to take them 7 to 8. I promise you this. Well, I don't want to. I keep talking as if it's an absolute, but I just feel like it's right there in front of us. I feel like this is the writing that's on the wall. It's a little bit blurry. It's hard to see, but I think it's going to come into focus very soon. And I know some people are disappointed by that. I know some people don't like that, but it's like whether we like it or not, I just feel like that is the direction things are headed in. I don't think it'll be that way forever necessarily. It's not to say that things like progress won't be made. You know, somebody mentioned like Fizzant. Like, will Fizzant be a PS6 only game? I mean, maybe. You know, I think we could see some developers being like, I want to really push things. I think we'll see that too. But, you know, Sony's very much. Here's my question. Astro's Playroom was made exclusive to the PS5 to showcase the PS5 hardware. I could be wrong out of the gate, and Sony's like, here's Astro's Playroom 2 to showcase the PS6 hardware. And like literally the first game they show is like, here's a PS6 exclusive. I could immediately be wrong. And that would be interesting. That would be very interesting, but they're probably working on Astrobot 2, if I had to guess. And like, let's ask ourselves, if Astrobot 2 is ready around the launch window of the PS6, do we think they're going to make it a PS6 exclusive? If I had to put money on it, I'm going to say absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's going to be on PS5. You know? Yeah, Garrett, AI could throw a wrench in everything I'm saying. If AI really alters the course of game dev, that could change a lot of things. But it's all about the install base. You know, it's all about how well the PS6 will or will not sell. We don't know these things. We can only speculate. Oh, hold on. All right. Hold on one sec. Why? Okay, I'm sorry. My YouTube studio like crashed 2 times in a row, which is very strange, and I don't know why. Maybe I had too many tabs open. I don't think I have a shit ton of RAM, but MEG, it feels like this gen needs to be pushed back until at least 2030 because of the first 2 years basically being non-existent because of scalpers and COVID. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way, but I don't think that's going to change anything. I think it's just one of these things where there are a new console generation launch is a big deal for Sony. It's a very expensive undertaking. It's something that they, you know, it's a lot goes into it. And the idea of delaying it by 6 months, let alone 2 years or longer, I mean, that changes everything. I will tell you that I'm not saying the PS6 couldn't get delayed, but if it gets delayed, it's going to be a 6-month delay at most. Sony's not going to sit on too long. The reason I say this is because the documentation is out there. It's been leaked. Project Orion is the PS6, and it is on track for holiday 2027. So, we should be getting that showcase sooner rather than later. Astro, Spider-Man, and Demon Souls at launch. Well, I think, you know, why do you hate on Xbox players? Like, why? Dark Knight. My title says fanboys, not players. I know people in real life that are Xbox players. And they're my friends. I don't hate on Xbox players. I hate on the fanboys. And to be honest, the only reason I hate on the fanboys is because, bro, they're bringing this shit to me. I'm just saying. To recap what I said earlier, just because I get it. We all are, all right, it's cool, Dark Knight. It's cool. We're all, it's easy to make assumptions. I'm guilty of that myself. But, just to reiterate what I said earlier, I think Helldivers selling 600K is probably good enough, to be clear. If I'm just going based off of my own armchair analysis, I feel like it should have been better, truthfully. Like, I feel like, considering the hype surrounding it, I would think it would have done a little bit better. I was thinking like 1 million. And we have Joshua Reese coming in, renewing his membership. He says we need to keep the train going. We need to get to 100. We got to do it. So he renews his membership. Welcome back, buddy. Thank you for that. That brings us to 76. It'll be interesting to see if we can do it today. Arrowhead did not announce anything yet. They could announce 1 million, to be clear. They could announce 1 million. They could be waiting. Maybe they will hit 1 million by day 5 or day 6 or 7 or something like that. And they could announce it. And 1 million in a week, I would say that's good. I would say Sony has to be happy with that. Because, let's face it, man, like 1 million is 1 million. That's a lot of 600,000 people is a lot of people. Just to kind of, clear up things with what Dark Knight was kind of asking. I just have a problem with, like, I want to see this end. Like, I want the nonsense to end, and I would like to push for that, but I just can't stand that. Like, so much of what I see, it feels like it's coming. I don't know. It's coming at a little bit of a refusal from some people. We have Joshua Reese, a member for 17 months, who just re-upped his membership. He said, "Have you seen Weapons yet?" I have, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, I liked Weapons. The ending was something, bro. Let me tell you. I saw it in the theater last week. Good stuff. I like going to the movies. Can't do it too often, but I like the movies. But still, hate is a harsh word. We disagree. Well, yeah. That's the thing, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like the problem with me trying to actually become more relaxed and subdued and more passive overall, I feel like I've been under attack more than ever. And that's bothersome. It is. Like, it's why I don't want to have to feel like I have to be defensive. And I know that people say, like, just ignore it, just ignore it. It's like, I do, but I'm seeing a deleterious effect. I am. And that's what's problematic for me. Is like, if it didn't matter, like, at all, I wouldn't care. But I see these people, like, these people who do this shit, they send droves of people my way, where they're following me on Twitter, they're following me on YouTube, and they're just waiting. They're just lying in wait. It's like anytime I go out my front door, they're right there waiting, hiding in the bushes. And it's like, this is nonsense, man. And this is why I feel like I don't want to make this a 1-on-1 or a 1-on-3 or 1-on-5 or anything. Like, I'm not trying. I know I say this in the same stream where I basically went berserk and calling people out, but I can't help but have this attitude. It's like, I've tried, man. I've tried to walk that path of peace where it's like, dude, I'm just practically begging you to just show the other side. Like, please. Like, don't, like, I shouldn't have to go this far out of my way to do that. But it's like, no, you do, because they're not going to stop. And that's the thing, man. Like I do feel like I have a right to defend myself. It's just I know. I question the bottom line like many of you do. Like what is the end game here? And I guess I just do it because the end game is I just hope that some people come across this and realize that and I think what Dark Knight said is a good example because it's like I understand that you look at my title and there's this immediate assumption where it's like, oh, he's gonna shit all over Xbox and their fan base, isn't he? And it's like, no, actually, I'm gonna call out certain people and question trolls and wonder like, what's going on? Why is this still going on? You know, people will take that as being defensive, and it's like, yeah, it's defensive because it that's what it is and it's what it needs to be. I'm not defending Sony, nor am I defending Microsoft. If at this point, I'm just defending myself. It's like, you know, listen, guys, we're either going to cut the bullshit or we're not. I've been trying. I've been doing my part. I've still had to sit here and watch people roast me for takes that they disagree with or don't like. I've seen people, I've had some of the most chill, relaxed, subdued streams I've ever had in the last year. And I still see people running, right? Like they'll find anything. They'll find anything and they'll twist it. Anything. And yeah, eventually it does start to get to you where it's like, what do you like? At what point does this stop? And what bothers me most about it is that the people who are doing this are making money off of it. That's why it won't stop because it's the only way they can make money. And it really it's right there in front of everybody's face. Where if you want to know how disingenuous this really is, if you want to know why these people do what they do, that's why. It's very simple. It's right there. And I just wish more people would wake up from that and realize that that's pretty garbage, actually. But unfortunately, in 2025, it's not exclusive to the gaming space. You see it everywhere where it's becoming more and more and more popular than ever before to talk about other people, to focus on other people and make your money that way. And I can't stand it. I just wish more people would have just an ounce of integrity, just an ounce. I'm not asking for much to at least try to just do your, try to make some kind of path forward for yourself that's not forged by stepping all over other people, you know? Because you know what the worst thing somebody could say to me? And this is true. Tarnished, I'm getting hungry too, Tarnished. And the worst thing somebody could say to me is, well, what about you, MBG? Didn't you forge your path by being an Xbox fan and then fanboy and then switching side, defecting like the boss to being a PlayStation fanboy and then stepping all over Xbox fans? It's like if you look back, I didn't step all over Xbox fans. No, they got hurt, like their feelings, because of what I said about their corporation that they preferred and what I said about Phil Spencer's leadership and what I said about the products. Never, I've never, I never like what I did today. I like never did that shit ever. And yet it was done to me 10 times over. But that's just me playing the victim, apparently. It is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all it can be. Pizza. Pizza sounds good. Those Destiny Rising ads are everywhere. They're very annoying. Mobile ads in general are annoying. I forgot about that, dude. Yeah, Tarnished. It feels like a Chinese finger trap. I don't know what to do about that. That's what I can't figure that out. Like I've run through that so many times in my mind. I'm like, what is the solution here? And I get very frustrated because I feel like there is none. It's like the answer, MBG, is there is none. And that's tough. Like that, I can't really swallow that pill. It's like, what do you mean? There's no recourse at all? No. And that's, that's kind of what makes me feel this this frustration. That's where it builds from, where it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean there's no recourse? How is that possible? You know what they say? Life isn't fair, right? Right? That saying sucks, but it's true. Why does the truth suck so much? Sadly, the internet pools in the dregs of society. Well, yeah, I'm just going to become a cat channel, guys. I've thought about it. Although my cats are, I think, too lazy for that. They just sleep all day. MBG, did you see where this Billy Mitchell case where he sued a YouTuber for defamation and won? No, I didn't know about that. That's crazy. Jesus, really? I mean, that feels like the epitome of fucking around and finding out, man. Oh, I've heard of that YouTuber before. I don't follow them, but I've heard of them. Well, what happened after they won? Well, what was the accusation and what happened after they lost, I guess. They will die being hateful. They say you think it's because most of what I say is legitimate and they want to destroy you. I mean, it sounds like cliche in a sense, you know? I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying, Tarnished. I understand that I probably provoked it even worse by just taking this position of like, if you say so, sure, you're right. You're right. And I get how that can maybe come off as like low key antagonistic, but I don't know. It's easy for people to just say you're not being genuine when you say that. Like you're just saying that, you know? And it's like, well, not really. Like if I was just going to say something, it would probably be it would probably come off more like this, like over the top and exaggerated where it's like I don't know. Like there's definitely layers of truth here, but you know, in terms of like the expression of it, there's layers of truth. But is that expression the entire picture? Like, is it entirely accurate of like what it represents? No, there's much more to it than that. What's up with the Sony lawsuit? I'm not sure. Carl, how do you say his last name? Carl Jobst? Is that how you say that? Claimed Billy caused someone's death. Billy sued him for defamation and won $350,000. Oh my god! Did he bankrupt the dude? Jeez, that's a crazy accusation, dude. That is a crazy accusation. I thought it was going to be something much more, you know, much more superficial than that. That's crazy, man. Holy shit. Yeah, that is that sounds like the epitome of fucking around and finding out. God damn, man. I guess it kind of does prove that you got, there is some level. Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about this Billy Mitchell guy. I mean, I've heard of him. I heard he got like in trouble for like cheating or something. I don't know, like cheating at a game or whatever. But the fact that he like was like, yeah, I'm gonna sue you and ruin you for this for what that's kind of crazy, and it happened. Like that's wild. 350K. Yeah, I don't. Let me see here. Oh wow, that's wild, Lost Isley. Dude, I'm gonna have to look into this. That's crazy and kind of scary. Like it's scary both ways. It's terrifying if it's true. It's equally terrifying if it's not. the reasoning is making fun of fanboys. Yeah, that's bullshit reasoning, dude. Brian, what you're saying, no, not you. I'm not saying like Brian, let me tell you something. No, like that reasoning, like we're making fun of fanboys. No, you're not. You're making money and you're claiming to have a big problem with this thing. And like, here's the big problem over here. Let me point it out and let's make fun of it and make an example of it. And it's like, well, hold on. Aren't you supposed to be doing so from a positioning of uh you're better than this? Or people should be better than this? And it's like, dude, you're giving people you're giving them the biggest platform. It's bullshit, dude. Like it's the biggest pile of bullshit I've ever seen. They know exactly why they're doing it. They know exactly why they're doing it, dude. Wait, Gaming Survivor, you're saying it actually bankrupted him? Like for real, for real? I was kind of exaggerating. That's nuts. Sheesh. Well, yeah, I guess you got to be really careful about, you know, bro. Did he do it like Michael Scott? I don't mean to laugh. Devil Shooter, that's what I was told. Yeah, that's what I was told. Somebody sent a super chat claiming that. Yeah, I don't know. This is what I mean, man. Like you know what's funny, Devil Shooter, is like it's I'm assuming that person left that super chat telling me that that's what he called me. That's what he called me, and I'm assuming that was probably yesterday or the day before. It had to be have been recent, or maybe it wasn't. But my assumption is it is. And you know what's crazy is like, dude, on my last stream, I talked maybe for like I am right now. I talked for too long about how like people like if people in this space were to just be more honest, you know, and how like there's so much they hide behind the veil, dude. And the problem is they garner a following where they're listen, man, are there people that follow these people that are that stupid? Yes. And I don't mean that in rude. I'm just saying it's a fact. There are people that are that stupid where they can't see it. A lot of them see it and they love it. That's the problem. They lean into it, they love it, they want more of it, and they encourage it. And they would be the equivalent of an enabler. And this is where it's like, I want to highlight a difference. Okay. The worst thing I've ever leaned into, like I said, the worst thing I've ever leaned into is if you want to encourage me and back me up and enable me to say Xbox sucks, okay. Yeah, I'll do that because I believe that at the times that we were doing that. And that Phil Spencer is a failed leader of the Xbox brand and needs to be, you know, needs to be held accountable. Yeah, I'll do that too. Sure. You know what I never did? I never started going after individual content creators and individual people. I could have. I still could. Don't know how successful I'd be, but I definitely could. And today, I guess you could say I did a little bit. But it's like, I never did that because I don't care. Like, my problem isn't with the person playing on Xbox. My problem isn't with the person who likes Phil Spencer. My problem is with the thing itself, the corporation. So what I'm trying to say is, I point the finger and I criticize the corporation, and then I'm humiliated, dragged, called the R word because of that. by somebody who claims to be better than that? Like, dude, you're trying to clap on somebody who who is calling out a corporation, and you're making it personal. Damn near personal. Like, how do people not see that? Like, that on some levels, like, that's even worse, dude. But that's the thing. That's the thing, man. I will stand by what I've always said because it will never not be true. And if the day comes where it's not, I'll let you know. These people who do this, they need to do it. Because if they tried to sit there for 3, 4, 5 hours just talking to their audience, it wouldn't work. If they tried to just focus on actual topics of discussion and talk about the happenings around the games industry, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. They need this. They need other content creators who are actually trying to do that. They need that. And they will put it under, we're just making fun of fanboys. There's a lot of other shit you can make fun of. A lot of other shit you could talk about. You know? A lot of other content creators you could talk about too. Wonder why you don't. Wonder why you don't. We know why. Like, that's the thing. Like, and this is what I mean, is like, there's no way we don't know why. So I just wonder, how long can it continue? How long can it go on for? Um, oh, Tyler, no, he's not name dropping me. He's name dropping MVG, Modern Vintage Gamer. At least I'm pretty sure he is. No, he's not name dropping me. Well, the thing is, I try to always understand like what the bottom line is for people. Like what do they want? What's their end goal? What are they trying to achieve? And you know, the biggest thing, dude, the biggest thing is that, and this is a reality of YouTube, you know, um, the biggest thing is that you always have to find your niche, right? And anybody who's trying to grow a YouTube channel, grow any type of social media, you have to find your niche. And the way it goes, if you're playing the game and you're playing it aggressively, which a lot of people are, once you find that niche, you double, triple, quadruple, and you just keep multiplying. You go harder and harder and harder and harder and harder, and you don't stop. You sprint and you don't stop. And that's the way the game is played. And, I became aware of this a while ago, and I hated it because I'm like, this sucks. That encourages the worst behavior. And this is why I admit that, yeah, there are times like the worst I've done is make a fucking joke video about Xbox body wash. But it's like, I realize, like, man, things change over time and opinions change, feelings change, and that's okay. The only thing that you really got to focus on is, are things changing for the better or for the worse? And, the major disagreement between me and so many other people is that I still enjoy PlayStation. That's what it is. I still enjoy PlayStation. And I don't have some kind of stick up my ass regarding Sony. And the idea is, well, you definitely have a stick up your ass about Xbox. And it's like, I did. and then I didn't. And that's where their hand is revealed. Because it's like, well, hold on. We're making fun of you, or we're clapping back at you because you're the PlayStation fanboy that hates Xbox. And it's like, dude, it's over. This isn't some kind of like, oh, we're trying to maneuver. Like, what the fuck is there to maneuver out of? That's the beauty of it. It's like, dude, I have people on my channel that will tell you Xbox is dead and Xbox sucks. And then what will happen is you will have people walk away and saying, "Did you hear what MBG said? He's the Sony pony fanboy. Xbox is dead." It's like, what? It's crazy, man. It's sad because it's like, dude, I look at these people and I'm like, you didn't ever really truly listen to what I was saying. And I think that is concerning. Like, that's very concerning, man. Where it's like they refuse to believe or accept that when I like was done with Xbox, I'm like, I'm gonna go to PlayStation. It's because it's like, dude, they need to improve and get better. And what I'm asking for, PlayStation's delivering. And this is what's crazy to me, is people think, they look at that and they're like, that's a grift. It's like, that's a grift. Like, are you fucking stupid? I'm sorry, but like, I have to ask earnestly, because it's like, bro, what in God's name would make people think that, like, because this is the funny thing to me, is people don't want to acknowledge, like, my channel started as an Xbox channel. Like, the people that were following me were Xbox fans and players. And the whole idea is like, well, you just grifted the PlayStation, man. You're just a fucking grifter. It's like, do you not understand that people were screaming at me? They're like, dude, you need to go play these games. Because what you're complaining at about Xbox for is, this is literally what Sony's producing right now. Right now. And people kept telling me, play The Last of Us, 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 play God of War, play God of War, trust us, play God of War, play Bloodborne, trust us. And I finally was like, you know what? Doesn't look like things are getting any better on the Xbox side as they were getting ready to release Crackdown. Fuck it, why not? What's the worst that could happen? People talk about it as if I just knew. If I talk about this, I'm going to get 100,000 views. I had no fucking idea. I was stunned. And yeah, I was like, man, I probably should have done this sooner if I wanted to grow my channel. I had no idea. And that's what bothers me, is you get fucking dipshits out here that are going to sit there and yell at the camera, telling me, telling your res, oh, you just grifted. Like, hey, dumb fuck, I liked Xbox. I came from Xbox. How can I be the bane of Xbox's existence? How can I be the biggest Microsoft hater in the world when I started there, bro? Like, that's where I came. Well, I started with PS1 and 2, but you get what I'm saying. Where I spent literally years, like, come on, Microsoft, let's get it together. They don't understand how stupid they come off. Like, they're gonna call me a Riri, right? They're gonna call me that. When it's like, you're over here calling me a grifter because I liked Xbox at one point and decided I liked what PlayStation was doing better, and basically the entire time was advocating for Xbox to do better? What? What? And it's like, well, you only like Xbox games now because they're on PlayStation. That's obviously why you like it. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? I was over here shouting out State of Decay 2 and fucking talking about Forza and Hellblade before any of this shit happened, or even as it was happening. What are you talking about? And you know what these dumb fucks bank on? They bank on me not caring enough to go back and show the fucking receipts. And they're right. They're right. This is why. It's like, yeah, I shouldn't have to do that. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm under that much scrutiny. I'm under that much attack that I got to go back and find. But they'll do it. No, they'll go do their due diligence and they'll find the receipts where, like, look at this fanboy take you had about the Xbox Series S. Like, okay. And what does that have to do with their games? What does that have to do with their games? Like, it's insane to me, dude. They just say and they say this shit because they want it to be true. Because they think if they just say it, their audience will be dumb enough, and everybody watching will just be dumb enough to believe it. They'll just be dumb enough to believe it. And they are most of the time. Or they just don't care. And this is what I'm talking about, where it's like, I could go out of my way. I could show it. And maybe I will. And it still won't matter. Do you know why? Because that's a threat. That's a threat to what they do and how they need to construct things. It's a fucking threat. It's a fucking threat, is what it is, to their success. And this is why I don't do it. This is why I hold back. This is why I don't. Because I could. Like, I could if I really wanted to. And I'm just hoping that I don't have to get pushed to the point where I actually have to, but I'm getting damn close. Where it's like, yeah, I may have to start actually really getting aggressive and aggressively defending myself. Because these people, they don't stop. That's the thing. I could understand where, yes, I've had some dumb takes. Yes, I've had some bad, stupid, reactions and over-the-top reactions, and I get clowned on. That's fine. I've accepted all that. But when it gets to a point where it's like, we're beyond that now, and you're still going. Like, you and your little fucking cuck friend that works for free under you. Still going. Every single day. Every single week. Like clockwork, dude. Still going. And at some point, I have to question. You're trying to convince everybody I'm the bad guy. I'm the one that's wrong. Why is it that I can sit here and I can look at my entire audience and I can look at everybody and say, you know what? Maybe the console wars are over. Maybe it's not so bad. Microsoft bringing their games over. Maybe Microsoft did finally get it together. Not in the exact way I wanted to, but here we are. It's not so bad. Why can I do that? But the last thing you could ever do is say, you know what? Maybe these people, maybe it is over. Maybe I should stop obsessively stalking them and just watching and waiting for any little morsel I can get so I can act like a fucking jackass and spin around. Why can't they? And you know what? They'll probably say some shit like, because you keep doing it. I would love to, but you keep doing it. It's like, no. No, what you keep doing is following some loser on fucking Twitter who lives in his fucking basement and does nothing but cherry pick clips and works for free for you. And you know that every week, that's what you get to, let's go check. Let's see what we got this week. Because believe me, I've said it over and over again. I ask why that little freak that works for free, right? I ask the question, why don't you post the clips of me losing it on Sony, of me shitting on Sony? Not in some falsehood way either. I mean, really, like, I have a fucking problem with PlayStation and I have a problem with Sony. And I'm going to, where is it? Where is that? Where are those clips? Tell me, where the fuck are they? So that way your master can he can take your work for free. He can use you up because we know you like it. Where is it? Where are they? You won't show them. You won't post them. You won't do it because you know your master needs to use you every week for his own content. Content, right? And God forbid you show the other side, because then people might ask you, well, why aren't you showing that? Why aren't you reacting to that? Gee, I wonder why. I really wonder why. Could it be because you need things to look a certain way at all times to extract the most amount of money from your own audience? Could it be that? Could it be that even if you did show something, you're still going to say, but that doesn't matter anyway, because you know your audience are a bunch of assholes that'll say, you're right, it doesn't matter. It never mattered. It's exactly what Devil Shooter said earlier. They construct these walls where it's like, we're right if we're wrong, and we're right if we're right. That's the game they play. That's the game they play. That's the only game they play. And they'll never, ever admit it. They'll come out here and be like, I admit when I'm wrong. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. But they'll ignore exactly what I'm saying. They'll ignore exactly what I'm saying. And see, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. You see this guy in the chat? Hold on, don't get rid of him yet. You see this guy in the chat? This guy in the chat, this is what I'm saying. Like, these people that I'm referring to, look, take a good look. Take a good look. These are the people that follow them. These are the people that they appeal to. These people like this right here. And these are the people they send to my channel. Maybe not directly. They don't say, go to this channel. But come on. Take a good look. That's what they construct. That's what they build. That's their empire. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And you know what? I think we've just reached a point, you know? We've reached a point. Imagine if MBG and all these PlayStation content creators stopped posting for 3 weeks. How would these people survive? Well, I could tell you right now, they would struggle to make content. I can tell you that. Sure, they'd figure something out. No, I'm not talking about Titus, bro. I'll need some aspirin after this stream. Yeah, well, I mean, the blood pressure is probably a little up, you know. Sorry, no, Titus is getting caught in the crossfire for no reason, bro. Hell no. Well, but the thing is, there's too much money to be made. Don't get me wrong. I need money too. I make that clear. That's why we talk about memberships. I let you guys know. I can only do what I do here because of the funding we get, because of the support we get. And I make it clear how appreciative I am of all that. Sorry, I don't, bring up other people's content really and react to it. I would prefer not to have to do that. If that was the only way I could get support, I don't know that I would want to do this anymore, truthfully, because that's not why I chose to do it. I chose to do this because I do care about gaming. Like, I grew up gaming. It's an important part of my life. I'm passionate towards it. And yeah, PlayStation's a major part of that. So is Microsoft. So is Nintendo, for that matter. And the whole reason I created this channel is because I want to express my excitement about games, consoles, the platforms, and everything that goes with it. And, something tells me that, there are a lot, well, I say that as if it's some kind of mystery. there are a lot of people involved in this space that they don't actually come from that, you know? Like they don't actually what they're doing does not actually come from a place of passion or anything that would be considered genuine. And I just wish that more people would see that, you know? I just wish that more people I wish that more people would recognize it and realize that like, dude, um, no one's perfect. Certainly not. Like everybody makes mistakes. Everybody fucks up. Everybody learns the hard way with some things in life. But it's crazy to me that the people who posture themselves, and I know I keep using that word because it's true, the people who posture themselves as, nah, nah, nah. If you think I'm bad, look at this, right? This is 10 times, this is so bad that it makes me look good. And it's like, bro, if you have to do that, that makes me immediately question, like, what are you hiding, dude? Like, why do you need to do that? Why do you need to do that to keep people's attention, to to make money on this platform? Like, why do you need to do that? And truthfully, I think a lot of it, sometimes it's cowardice. If it's not cowardice, it's just because it's like it's the term I'm looking for. It's I don't know. There is a specific term I'm looking for that I can't quite put my finger on. The word is eluding me, but basically, it's because they know it's coming from a bad place. It's coming from a place of bad faith, and it's coming from a place of, I don't know if I want to say hatred, but just it is this kind of like bad, chaotic, negative energy, you know, that like they try to mask it. It's not disingenuousness. No, it's maliciousness. That's what it is. That's the word I was looking for. It comes from a malicious place. And that's to me what I wish, like, if you want to know what a troll is a malicious person. A passively malicious person. That's what a troll is. A person who does something that would be deemed harmful or negative or destructive or chaotic, but masks it as something fun and interesting and exciting. That's a passive that's a passive malicious person where they're in their heart, they're coming from a place of they're looking to do damage. They're looking to hurt, they're looking to do damage, and they're looking to gain from it. And they are, I mean, they're damn near sociopaths, to be honest. Like, I mean, you could say that's what a sociopath is. Um, the psychology of it is they're aware enough that they have to be, they, if you're doing, if you're in the public eye or if you are doing anything outwardly facing, they're aware enough that there are certain lines that you can't go too far. You can't cross certain lines because if you do, you're going to be viewed in poor taste. Like people are going to see just how malicious you really are and where you're really coming from. And once people see that, even if they agree with it, you might fall out of favor and they can't really align with you anymore. So it's like walking a tightrope where you have to maintain the facade just enough to not cross that line, but you still bring that maliciousness to the table with everything you do. And I've had times where that exists in me. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had times where like, yeah, I get pissed, I get angry, and you just kind of come from this place of and yeah, I've been passive aggressive many times, many times. But eventually I just kind of realized that, man, this leads to a very toxic, shitty place that I don't want to be here because it's hard to be here. It's painful to be here. It hurts me. It hurts others. It's hurting even people near me. And it's like, yeah, dude, that's the thing. The really concerning individuals are the ones that thrive in that space. where when they are acutely aware of what they are doing and how it's affecting people, how it's affecting maybe people they don't even know, you know? Um, and it's like, hey man, MBG, don't you feel bad that you may have really hurt an Xbox player's feelings? Like, keep in mind, I want you to keep in mind, dude, these these people who are trying to villainize me, or again, they approach it from a we're making fun of, we're laughing at you, but in reality, we want you to see how much of a piece of shit this person is. They'll say, "Remember that tweet you put out?" Because they keep bringing that tweet up, and I'm like, dude, it's a fucking joke, man. Like, listen, if I actually hurt a child's feelings that morning, I apologize sincerely because that's not the intention. You know what I mean? And somebody listen, if it's like we're gonna really fucking whittle this down, like, come on, MBG, let's get into your psychology. It's like you put that out to be malicious. You're the malicious one. You put that post out back in 2021 on a day where it's supposed to be a holiday, and you're doing it to hurt people. And you know what? Sure, I'll sit there and I'll think, that's not really my intention. Like, genuinely. Like, it's not to actually hurt people. It's to make people laugh. But if it's like, no, dude, like, this is upsetting people because there are people waking up today and they're excited to open that up and that might be their first console or whatever, and you're being a bit insensitive. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, all right. I can easily take a big step back and say, you know what? Maybe that was kind of stupid and a mistake. Came from a place where I'm just trying to be a little funny, trying to just, poke some of the Xbox fans a little bit. But if it's like, if that's what you want to, that's what you want you want everybody to believe that, no, man, you're a clown and a piece of shit for doing that. It's like, okay, my bad. Yeah, I should probably grow up a little bit. Now, my question is, well, what about you now? I'll grow up. I can, yeah, I'll knock that shit off. But what about you now? That's my question. I don't know. Um, hold on. Let me see. Damn, MBG, I just saw all of your responses you got on X. A lot of people tearing in you. Well, yeah, probably. Because I decided for once to just say, fuck it. I'll actually get a little, I'll get a little bit aggressive myself. I'll push back a little bit, you know? Let's see. Um, well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't checked on any of the posts in particular. Um, you're saying too bad if Xbox feelings are hurt, grow a brain in a second, and maybe you won't be made fun of so much. Well, see, that's the thing, dude, is like, I don't want to go in this direction because it's like, this isn't conducive. This isn't conducive, man. Like, I don't know. I just, it's just, if people are going to, constantly claim I'm one thing while ignoring everything else, you know, I just have to question, like, at one point in my, like, you need to start paying attention to everything else because I'm getting a little tired of you calling me one thing all the time and ignoring everything else. That's not how life works. That's nothing in life works that way. Everything has context. Everything has different, you know, different angles to it. It's not that simple. And I'm tired of being gaslit by the same people. Like, it's just really gotten me to, or it's like, we can't be like this anymore, MBG. And it's like, you're right. So then let's not. And then you're like in agreement, and then they just start being like that at your expense. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I thought, and that's why I believe it's malicious. I believe it's truly malicious because they say one thing and then they do another. They posture themselves one way and then they act a completely another different way. And that to me is just fucked up, where it's like, well, then what was the point of any of this? And that's where the truth is revealed. The point is they make their money and they get their engagement and then they walk away. And they got my attention. And that's, it's like, okay. But they leave there's something that lingers. The shitheads that follow them, that make their way here. I don't know, man. It's, I think it's coming to a head, though. Because it's like I said, I'm not the only one that sees this. I'm not the only one that's impacted by it, you know? See, like, look at this. Look at this. I say in a post, I thought the console wars were over. This was in regards to Colt Eastwood's post, right? Somebody says, no, we're just clowning ponies, LOL. See what I mean? It's literally right there. It's in front of people's faces. They're just admitting it. They're telling you. They're flat out telling you. And nobody cares. They're just like, yeah, this is fine. And this is why they are allowed to continue to do this. Because they're looking around and they're like, you guys are okay with this? And they're like, yeah, dude, keep going. That's exactly what's happening. That's why you see Colt Eastwood getting real comfortable with somebody like, oh no, it's Alex. Suddenly. Or Paris Lily. Or Destin Legary. Notice how they're all cool and buddy now. Anybody notice that? No? Nobody noticed that? That's not a thing? No? Oh, okay. Sure, there's nothing weird about that, you know? Well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Ponies unite. Well, I guess that, at the end of the day, I think I woke up today and chose violence. I mean, that's the thing, dude. Like, I don't know. It's not really in my nature to be like this, you know? It's not in my nature to be like this. It's just like, it feels like shit's been taken up a notch. And I'm just like kind of looking around like, guys, are we like going to chill out or what? No. Okay. All right. I guess we're just not going to chill out. We're just going to keep it going. Sometimes the rant streams have to be. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Man, my stomach's growling. I'm like starving. I did eat though. I'm burning calories, bro. Like, check this out. So I I called out another post, by the way. Now listen, there's this post from Colt Eastwood from August 22nd. He says PlayStation fanboys are upset at the third-party multi-platform strategy. They should be celebrating games instead of crying about losing exclusivity. When Xbox announced their games were going to PC, I celebrated it, as should everyone else, because this will benefit all gamers and still give you games on your console. Now, in this post, dude, he's highlighting an Icon era thread. So, right off the bat, Colt's dwelling in Icon era, where if you know anything about Icon era, it's like PlayStation fanboy haven, like Outer Haven or some shit. It's like, I mean, truly the most extremist PlayStation fans dwell in that form. That's what it is. It's known for that. Okay? So that's where he's going to check on news about, let me see, Lost Soul aside. Sony keeps proving where their priorities lie, hyping up. This is what some person says on the Icon era forum. They say Sony keeps proving where their priorities lie, hyping up PC players on the PlayStation channel instead of respecting fans who actually keep PlayStation alive. PS5 Pro features trailer should have been the bare minimum. We didn't spend $700 on this console just to watch PC players get the spotlight. I mean, sure, I can understand where that person's coming from, but it's like, bro, they're hoping this game blows up big on the PC platform in China. That's why they're doing this. But anyway, this is where Colt Eastwood apparently decides he wants to go see what people are saying on Icon era. So he can state PlayStation fanboys are upset. They should be celebrating instead of crying about losing exclusivity. Okay, so what's he doing? He's once again posturing. We need to be better than this, guys. We need to be better than this. Again, this is the same person who hyped the shit out of Bethesda and ABK being exclusives, potentially, whatever. We're changing now. We're turning a new leaf. We're being better. I can get behind that, except seemingly. So I said that post was on August 22nd, except on August 28th, he decides to say, I can't wait for the PS Series, PS6, Series S, and handheld to totally not hold back the next generation, again, while posting a picture of Oh No, It's Alex. Do you see, like, there's no way, there's just no way these are the people we're going to let gaslight us, right? Right? That's that passive-aggressive maliciousness that I just talked about. Engagement farming, sure, not an excuse. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. This is bullshit. I'm going to come out here one day and posture myself as, I'm going to shame these PlayStation fanboys over exclusivity. We're not console warring anymore. We need to embrace this. We need to embrace the multi-platform future, to then put some bullshit like that out a couple days later. This is bullshit, dude. And again, this is why I say you wonder why these people are starting to get so buddy-buddy all of a sudden. Because they're all looking around at each other like, we could do this. We could just fucking do this. And nobody's doing nothing. Nobody's doing nothing. That fucking Astro cuck that has his hands cupped around Colt Eastwood, or well, probably his too, but Oh No, It's Alex's balls all the time. Do you think he'll post shit like that? Do you think, because this dude is stalking my Twitter and posting half the shit I post on my Twitter. God knows he's stalking my streams. Probably here right now. I mean, you know he is. You know he is, because he can't help himself. Because he knows, I can't let down my master. Not this week. I can't let him down. I got to make sure I have the content. I got to make sure I capture this in 4K for him. Meanwhile, you see shit like this out here too. It's like, okay, we'll just ignore that. It's crazy, man. Just give up Twitter. It's too idiotic. I gave up Twitter a long time ago, man. I gave up Twitter a long time ago. Truthfully, I like, it's just, I got to a point where, like, I'm just going to ask questions, I guess, and try to get some engagement without being toxic about it. That's a problem too, by the way, apparently for a lot of people, because what isn't a problem? But it's just gotten to a point where it's like, dude, you don't make any fucking money on Twitter. And, if I try to, like, anytime I post on Twitter, this is the type of shit that I'm met with. Again, I posted about a report regarding Forza Horizon 6, and I was told by somebody that I don't like Forza and I'm a fanboy. And then I showed that person that actually I got every achievement on Forza and I've always loved Forza, and they told me they don't care. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, what's even the point then? What's even the point? Those questions piss people off even more. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's even I understand. It's quite uninteresting. Very uninteresting. But yo, here's another one too. Because I know he's here. Like, he's literally here right now. Astro Cyborg, look at me. Look at me. Look at me, you little bitch. I know you used to watch my channel, okay? I do have the receipts. I have the receipts of you in my fucking chat, getting along with everybody just fine. You used to be a fan, buddy. That's fine. No one has to really know about that. But make sure you clip this. Make sure you let everybody know that you sit in a basement alone and depressed. And this is as good as it's ever going to get for you, buddy. Okay? Make sure you post that. Clip that. Let everybody know. Let everybody know that you got to work for your master and you can't show everything. You can't show everything because if you did, you know what would happen. You get this much attention on Twitter. You get this much attention in general. And this is the only way. Post it. Post it. Show your following. You think my following's toxic? You think my following's bad? Have you seen the replies you get under your tweets, under your fucking posts of clips like me and Reforge and who else that you just can't stop stalking? Do it. Do it. And prove me right. Go ahead. People under those, make sure you clip this and make sure the people that are seeing this, make sure you leave the replies. Go ahead. Do it. People flip-flop more these days than 20-something-year-old women's feet walking down the beach, bro. What? Why do people stalk and hate? I don't know. Because they don't have anything else to do, dude. You're talking about a guy who's posting about me crashing out on Twitter and not playing Metal Gear while he's not playing Metal Gear, posting about me crashing out. Like, dude, you can't make this shit up. You can't make it up. Well, I mean, dude, Solaire, I'm just looking at I see this shit and it's like, and I'm not the only one. Dude, stalking. He's stalking. That's all he's doing. Some dude already clipped, reacted, and uploaded a full video of this stream on YouTube. Holy shit, are you serious? You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? They can't make it without me. They can't make it without me. They need this. They need this more than they need anything. They need this more than they need themselves. Dude, they can't even wait for the stream to be done. They can't even wait for the stream to be finished. They need it now. That's wild. Oh, I'm not surprised. You're saying he's a super small channel. Yeah, you see all these random channels popping up, dude. It's like this is what they do now. This is all they can do. You know what's sad is like, you look back, because I've looked back at some of these people, and they tried to make it the normal way. They did. If you go back far enough, you can, it's not that I've only like checked once or twice just out of sheer curiosity where I'm like, who the fuck are these people? You look back, everybody tries to make it the right way. You know that? Everybody. Everybody tries to make it the right way. Where they're not, they don't just come on the internet and be like, I'm going to make a YouTube channel and just be a dick and just be a toxic clown. Usually, I mean, maybe not everybody, but most people. And you go back and you see like they tried, man, and they failed. Oh, they failed. You can see it. You can actually track it. And you can see how they failed. And I think that's just kind of sad, to be honest. Where it's like the fact that the only thing that they feel like they can resort to is stuff like this to be able to climb. I genuinely have to wonder, like, do you really enjoy this, dude? Because I don't enjoy this. I'm going to be honest. I don't enjoy going on the defense. I don't enjoy engaging with this shit. I do not enjoy this. My blood pressure's high. It's stressful. It's annoying. It feels combative. It feels aggressive. It feels like, way too intense. But it comes because it's like I didn't ask to be met with all of this friction and all of this bullshit. They bring it to my doorstep and then they wonder why I get like this. But I have to really ask, like, do you really like this? You enjoy this? How? What kind of person do you have to be to enjoy this, man? This is, I mean, I know we use the word toxic a lot and maybe that's overused, but it is. It's toxic. It's deadly. It's just chaotic, man. It's not natural. I mean, yeah, I have to really ask, like, what's going on inside a person's head that they can thrive and enjoy this? I really have to ask. I do, because it's actually concerning. It's genuinely concerning. And then when they see somebody like me finally get fed up with it, it's just, oh, look at how salty you are. The crash out. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, if you're an asshole, it's like if you're an asshole to somebody for weeks on end, and you're constantly poking them and constantly shouting at them and shitting on them, what do you think somebody's going to do? Smile and say this is fine? Like, what would you do? What would you do? Nothing? But that's the funny thing, man. These people will be like, "Oh, you're crashing out. You're yelling. You're getting upset." It's like, do you not see what these people are doing every week with every piece of content they put out? They're yelling and screaming and crashing out. They're being just as obnoxious. But they're just laughing about it, saying that makes it all okay. It's crazy, dude. Digital dude, you're saying, imagine if there was no internet and you had to say all this stuff to people's faces, they'd be silent. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. People be straight up. Yo, it's so like I just try to imagine like if Twitter was real life and just people in real life engaging with each other, the amount of those people that would have firearms, it would be a war zone, dude. It'd be crazy. It's wild. But you're absolutely right. Like, dude, people will talk. They will talk. And you put them in a real situation, a lot of people will fold instantly. It's easy to be, it's easy to posture yourself on the internet. But these people need the internet taken away from them. Well, I don't know about that. It shouldn't have to come to that. It's just like, come on, man. Like, are we actually going to get better or not? Because I'm in it. I'm ready. I'm willing. But I have to question other people, where it's like, you guys make it seem like you're ready, but you just keep, God, you just keep poking, man. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. Don't do that, Khalifist. Well, it is the internet. That is true. People can get away with a lot on the internet. People can remain anonymous on the internet. Well, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. Um, I'm going to check to see if there's any other gaming news that came out. I mean, it's holiday. It's Sunday. I doubt there's anything. Check it. No. God damn, man. Things have really settled down a lot. Like, there is not much going on. Like, that's the thing is, when I was looking around at topics to talk about, like news topics, this Helldivers one was really the only significant one. It's a new update to Mafia. Gaming news is dead. I've always said that it usually gets this quiet when things are about to ramp up again. Young, yeah, talking about the $200 MGS Deluxe Edition. Damn, dude. MBG just go multi-platform. Ton of news then. Yeah, I mean it's tough, man, because it's like I said, I would have to segment a certain part of what I do here where it wouldn't be. It would be fine, but it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be as like it would be hard for me to express excitement. I guess is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like for example, if I like covered Nintendo news, and I tried to the buildup of the Switch too. I'm like, I'll try to cover it more, but it's hard because it's like, dude, I can't I can't force excitement on myself like that. People will still have a problem with you. Oh yeah. Oh, he grifted the Nintendo. Titus, by the way, bro, I'm so sorry. I completely missed your super chat. I was so, locked in. You're saying we beat back living on dog food one dono at a time. Or we beat back living on dog food one dono at a time. Thank you. Thank you, Titus. I'm sorry. Sorry I kept you waiting. Yeah, I was crashing out, bro. Well, it's because I just want to see. I want to see when things are going to change. You know, I want to see it, and I feel like because I have this feeling. Listen, I have this distinct feeling that when the change actually occurs, if it does, and I don't think it will, because it requires everybody to kind of be on board. You have people out here saying like it's got to change, we need to change, and then they're like, but actually we're not going to. I have this feeling that when that happens, the way in which people get their engagement, the way in which people bait and basically how they make it around here, I think it changes for them dramatically. And I think it results in a lot of loss. You know, I do. I think that's what it results in. I think it results in, you know, things become less exciting, so to speak, because you realize that a lot of the people that were supporting you for the wrong reasons. They weren't supporting you because they wanted to hear what you had to say about games, because they're excited about games. They weren't supporting you because of your passion for the games industry. They were supporting you because you told them exactly what they wanted to hear, like to a T. You told them exactly what they wanted to hear with no deviation, with no actual real genuine opinion or thought or original thought. And I just want it to happen, man. Because it's like, you know what? If everybody has such a problem with the fanboys, I'm right there with you. Let's get rid of them all. Let's get rid of all the fanboys. PlayStation fanboys, Xbox fanboys, Nintendo fanboys, PC fanboys. Let's get rid of it all. And we'll just talk about games, dude. Let's talk about games, talk about the news, talk about our hopes and dreams. However, criticisms. There's still going to be things to criticize, absolutely. Why not? Why not? Do it. Let's all do it. See, something tells me they'll say, yeah, let's do that, but you can't be a part of it. Or these people can't be a part of it. It's like, why not? If anybody who's in agreement should be allowed to be part of it, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's an interesting time. Interesting and disturbing and unsettling time, for sure. See, the PS5 Pro's trending. Why is the PS5 Pro trending? I'm not seeing one. I'm seeing a lot of people posting screenshots of MGS Delta. Man, MGS Delta looks so good. Yeah, I'm gonna have the platinum in Death Stranding 2 very, very, very soon. Like, no joke. Probably in the next 24 hours, I'll have that platinum. Then I can put all of my attention on Metal Gear. We can get back to talking about games again. You know, 007 gameplay and SARS gameplay at the next state of play would be cool. Yeah, well, tomorrow, September 1st, we'll see what Sony's going to do in September. I don't think we've heard anything more. We did hear from Jeff Grubb saying that's going to be like the last week or two. It's going to be like later in September we're going to get something. So we'll do more Metal Gear streams. Yeah. I'm not going to dress up, though, for it. I just had to do it that one time. But we'll do more. It's September in 2 hours for you. PS Slayer saying, MBG, don't let these people drag you down. You need to defend yourself. And if you ignore them, they'll just keep going. Yeah, well, it's a tough one because it's like it falls back to what, I keep referring to what Devil Shooter said earlier, because what he said is that is the end game. Is he was just saying that, like, the whole idea of any of these people is, if you acknowledge it, they've won. And I understand that, but it's almost like I'm just pleading with people, where it's like, why don't people see that that's a problem? You know, like, that's what I'm pleading for, where it's like, please don't let this be where this goes, where we can't let those who operate that way be, we can't let them be the ones that run this, you know? And that's like what somebody said earlier. They said, dude, somebody already made an hour-long video or some shit of the stream that you're still doing right now. This is what I mean. Like, why do you think that person is doing that? Because they think it's not a matter of whether it's okay, it's because they think that's going to get them views. Like, there's people that want to see this, and really this is just a problem of, the problem runs deeper, where it's like, that's, you know, it's like, who do you blame? Do you blame the viewer? Do you blame the hosts? Who do we blame here? And it's like, I don't know, man. Like, at some point, it's just like, people got to move on from this. Where it's like, really, like, you're sitting there eagerly awaiting somebody else uploading a video about what somebody else said while they're still live streaming, and that person feels encouraged to do that because they think that's what's going to get them views and make them money. Like, what the fuck is that? What even is that? Yeah, exactly. Like, that's not fun. That's not it. Like, that's truly degenerate behavior. That's going backwards, bro. And that's what I'm seeing. Everything's going backwards. So maybe not everything, but so much is going backwards, and people are like, yes, they're cheering it. You think this is 100% YouTube's fault and their AdSense? I'm sure. Yeah, there's a degree of that, certainly. It's the blame. There's not just one thing to blame. It's a culmination of many things coming together and creating this specific circumstance. And, everybody, to a degree, I would say everybody to a small degree is, I don't say everybody, but a lot of people to a small degree are at fault. But when you put them together, it becomes a big problem. that small fault becomes one big problem. I think that's what we're seeing. And it would just be nice to it would be nice to see that course correct, to change over at least a little bit. Because again, I'm not the only one. I am far from the only one. I see other people dealing with this shit all the time. People bigger than me, people smaller, it's like, and I just it really does feel like mental illness, dude. It really does. It feels like maybe mental illness, and people are becoming very, very unwell, because when I get closer to it and I start to feel its effects, it starts to make me feel like I'm not well. Like this is making me nuts, because what is this? Like, what is any of this? You know? But yeah, time moves forward. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, we'll do like a last call here. We are approaching the 3.5 hour mark. If you want to drop any more support before we wrap it up, if you want to drop any more memberships, any more super chats or direct donos, now would be the time to do it. I'm hoping that things pick up a little bit going into September. Um, we'll see. I would like to stream tomorrow. It really depends on what there is to talk about. I don't want to have another one of these streams, that's for sure. But it's hard to say if things are going to pick up real quick going into September or if it's going to be a slow burn. I'll just have to play it by ear. On point for gamers are massive shit talkers about PlayStation fanboys. They prop up Xbox, immediately crap on PlayStation fans in almost every video. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't understand. There's like this like weird hatred for PlayStation and their fan base, and I don't know why. What is this? What is this? Who says 007 First Light gameplay coming to state of play? Can't confirm if it's actually a state of play. It's an event. I don't know. Watch this guy be 100% correct. Yeah, I don't know if this is a good source or not. Yeah, I'm not really seeing much of anything. I guess we'll see. We have some time. All right. Yeah, Silent Hill F seems like it's going to be really good. Check recent community post. Uh-oh. Do I want to know, digital dude? Digital dude, what is your community post? Because the latest one I see from you is from 5 days ago about Metal Gear Solid, saying Snake really thinks he's Tom Cruise or whatever. If you posted something else, I think it automatically held it for review or something. I could double check. I don't know if it'll let me check that or not. Yeah, I don't know. That's the latest thing I'm seeing from you, digital dude. Too much extremism. People are going nuts. Oh yeah, it didn't come up, digital dude. It's literally not showing it to me. I even went in my studio to check. I guess for some reason it's withholding it. See your post about Black Ops 7. I can't even imagine that, dude. Like, I can't even imagine that. That means that dude was watching me and just waiting. That's crazy. How do I become a member on here? There should be a dollar sign at the bottom of the chat. If you click that, it should give you the option to become a member. If you're on iPhone, it might not be there. Sometimes people have to go on Google Chrome on iPhone and go to YouTube that way. But I can post a link too. I'll just post it there just so. Hold on. Here you go. There it is. Yeah, if it just says super chat, you might be. It's probably because you're on iPhone. Yeah, Butcher says he had to download Google Chrome. Sometimes it's better to keep your head down and stay in your own little bubble. So, yeah, well, sometimes it is. MBG, did you hurt that dude? I must have. I don't know who this is. Like somebody said it was a small YouTuber. I don't know. I've been seeing, dude. I saw this one YouTuber that's using AI generated thumbnails of me. It's like, dude, how fucking pathetic can you be? Like you have nothing. You have nothing. You are a literal no one. You have to fucking make AI generated thumbnails of other people to keep yourself relevant. And you're not even relevant. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yo, do not tell me. Do not tell me. Yo, we have Dumpy Koala coming in. He becomes a member at the Play Has No Limits Plus tier, bro. Dumpy Koala, he actually did it. Thank you so much for that, man. You know I appreciate
Thank
the support.
you. Appreciate it.
And he brings us up to 77 members. So we definitely did some big numbers today, guys. Big numbers. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, like I said, we'll have more members content coming. We'll for sure be doing a members lounger too in the next week. I definitely owe you guys that. Perfect Image, a member for 21 months, says, in this world, there are three kinds of people. One left, one right, and one in the middle. But the irony is that everyone won't say drop prices. Maybe you meant to say everybody will say drop prices. Stay MB gangsta. I love how that's just a thing on the channel. Dude, I was going to say, you're telling me this person recorded me on their phone, bro. I mean, like, literally, like, I think they, like, held it up and recorded their screen. You know what? I can't even, I'm going to be honest, I can't even get mad. I'm not even, I can't get mad. It's just like that. That feels weird. Okay. You know what, man? Maybe this caps it off. You know? This helps it puts everything in perspective. It puts everything in perspective, man. I guess. I don't know. The internet has become such a weird place. Like, I don't even recognize it anymore, man. I feel like I've gotten old on the internet. And I haven't even been here that long. See, I want to point this out. Look at this. This is what I like. This is where I'm
What did I
gonna
miss?
have to do
Been having
something.
a great time protecting Super Earth.
Dude, Walrus just coming in. Walrus is like, what did I miss? I've been having a great time protecting Super Earth, MBG. You missed nothing, bro. This is one of the most boring streams I've ever done. One of the most boring streams I've ever done, bro. Well, you missed a lot of ranting. A lot of ranting. A lot of losing it. But you know what? The good news is I got one more in me. But really, I got one more in me. So I'm just going to have to do something. I'm going to have to do something because it's like these people, bro. Look, that person that I named multiple times throughout the stream, we call him Astro Cuck. All right. Dude, he's already on it, bro. Who pays this guy? Like, he's got to be making money. There's just no way he's doing this and not making money. I refuse to believe that. And like, I just have to be honest, man. Like, if you're doing this and not being paid, you need to do something else. Like, please, God, do something else. Go make some kind of revenue, dude. This is nuts. This is nuts. I would respect the hustle if there was any money being made. And I'll tell you, he's not making money from Twitter. That's for sure. Twitter doesn't pay shit. Like, dude, come on, man. Anyway, he already has a clip out of me. He says, MBG out here comparing Helldivers 2, a $40 AA game, and its sales to Final Fantasy 16, a $70 AAA game sales. Okay, well, first I'll start with this. And which game sold more between the two platforms? Which game
One more
sold
in
more?
me phrasing. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji. Rolling on the floor laughing emoji. MBG, we love the rants, man. Hope you keep the stream up.
I'll keep it up. Yeah, fuck him, dude. Like, take the clips, prove me right. I hope, if anything, I hope this stream serves to prove me right, where it's like, you can only make money one way, you can only get the viewership one way, go for it. Prove me right. But you know what? It's like, you're saying it's a problem that I'm comparing a $40 AA game, which Helldivers is actually a AAA game, I'm pretty sure that was confirmed a while ago, a $40 game to a $70 game that released one on PlayStation, one on Xbox. And which game sold more? The $70 game. The $70 game sold more. And, well, are you insinuating that people weren't saying that wasn't enough? That was a problem? That 3.5 that is the insinuation. This is what I mean. This is what I mean when I say I got one more in me, because it's like that is the insinuation. Do super chats have talk? No, they don't have talk to speech or text to speech. Sorry. Mainly because it would be too much. Sometimes we get a lot of super chats flowing. I did it a couple times though. Maybe I'll bring it back. I don't know. But the direct donations have it. The direct donation link is pinned at the top. But like, it's just like, yeah, we are going to make this comparison, not because the sales are relevant, but because the conversation around the sales are relevant. But you know what? Look at the replies, just to show you the type of people that follow this person. Top reply, and there it is right at the end. He said it didn't sell well enough to justify porting PlayStation games to Xbox. That's what this is all about. Don't worry that it's a live service game that will make money over time. Destiny 2 is living with under 30K on stream. Helldivers 2 is 125 plus K. But dude, like, that's the thing. I said numerous times in this stream that's already clipped somehow that it's enough. I think Sony views it as enough. I'm asking the question, but since we can't talk directly to Sony, I'm speculating it's enough. My opinion is it's enough. Probably, probably enough. Maybe a little bit more. It will make money over time. The question is, does Sony really think that's enough to bring single player games over? You know, if Helldivers 2 make enough to justify it going to Xbox? And if the answer to that is yes, then what does that mean about single player games? Now, to be fair, that one guy's comment was not too bad. But then you just got somebody saying this bitch is delusional. Like, okay. Thank you for contributing to the conversation, bro. Real nice. Real nice. Great. This is crazy, dude. Oh, here we go. Hold on. His latest clip. The Series S fucking sucks, but he's not console warring. No. Get something straight. I am console warring 24/7. Doesn't matter what I say, doesn't matter what I do. I could literally leave console gaming and just become a PC gamer. I'm still console warring. Do you understand? Do you understand? Because everybody else understands this. I need to make sure we're all on the same page. Doesn't matter what I do. I'm always console warring because they tell you so. Because they tell you. And yes, the Series S does suck. You're going to defend the Series S? Like, guess what? I'm allowed to say a console sucks. Just like you are. You can tell me the PS5 sucks. Doesn't necessarily mean you're console warring. Tell me the PS5 sucks. Guess what? I get people telling me all the time the PS5 sucks. Does that mean they're console warring? No, they're just telling me the PS5 sucks. I tell them it doesn't. I like the PS5. This is what I'm saying. They need this. They need it. They need it. Keep console warring, bro. Keep console warring so I can keep clipping, so I can keep working for free under this guy's thumb. So I can keep his content flowing and money flowing in his pockets, not mine. This is what they need. They fucking need it. Holy shit. They need it so bad. They need it so bad. I just don't understand how could they be okay not getting anything in return? So I'm saying these people, they got to be getting paid. They have to. You're saying 600K is more than you thought it would sell, but it's still a flop for that game? The reason why I think Sony would be okay with 600K ultimately is because they can kind of milk it over time, you know? Like, if you get 600K people, how many of those people can you retain for the long run? And how many of those people will continue to give money? I could see that being valuable to Sony. But of course, the question isn't that. The question is, so does this mean Spider-Man's next? And that, I feel like things get a little bit more interesting. I don't know. If Sony was looking at 600K sales and they think, is this enough to port Spider-Man 2 over, or Spider-Man in general? Like, would that be worth it? It's like, I don't know about that, man. That's not a lot of sales. I mean, I think they did less for PC, you know? But that came after people got adjusted to it. Yeah, that one surprised me. If there's I've heard there's like some kind of Discord that all these people are involved in or something. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I mean, Jesus, dude. Wouldn't be surprising in the least. I wouldn't be surprised at all. They don't need a Discord. They just do it publicly. They do it right in front of everybody. They don't care. They know nobody cares. They do it publicly. Let's go check on my tweets here. Okay. It's psychotic, to be honest. They must be unemployed or something. Well, they're 100% unemployed. Yeah. And I'm not even being an asshole about that. I'm just saying you can't sit there like you can I have a lot of people on this channel that listen while they're working. I mean, I guess maybe if they were working some kind of home job, but the fact that they're clipping it, like, you know, like not just one or two either. Like, I mean, like the whole thing, bro. Honestly, you know what they should be doing? They should be out there seeing if they could get hired as an editor or something. Truthfully, like that's what they should be doing. Because like you're already doing it, and you're not getting paid for it. But I don't know. Some people just I guess don't care, or maybe they got I don't know. Maybe they have money. Maybe they're rich. But that would be weird. That'd be even weirder. Like, how do you get rich with that kind of mentality? You know, like with that kind of basement dwelling mentality. Depends. Like my job, I'm even working from home, but I don't have time for that type. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It ain't easy doing that shit. It's not. I mean, it's like it's not difficult necessarily because you're just sitting there and like pulling clips, but you have to put the time in. You know what I mean? You have to put the time in to listen, and you got to figure out what you're gonna cherry pick, what you're gonna ignore, and that's what's crazy, dude. Is just like it's wild. Well, yeah, I don't know how much further I could go with this at this point. Sure, people will be feasting on this stream for days to come. You know, feast away, feast away. It's sad though, man, because you know what? And this will be my closer. This is what I'll wrap up with. It's crazy because like it's crazy to think that every time I see these clips made and stuff, oh God, Solaire, I don't know, dude. Maybe on Twitter. When I see all this stuff and I see the way people react to it, the only thing that the only thing that I think at the end of the day really it is the thing that would be considered the thorn in my side is what I've emphasized earlier. And this is I will have to put a great amount of I've already put a great amount of thought into it, but I will continue to ponder what I'm going to have to do because I'm going to have to do something where I don't mind people clipping my content or whatever and reacting to it or saying what they have to say. The only thing I do mind is that they cherry pick, is that they're not willing to react or show the times like they only it's like I said to you earlier, like they only take one angle and that angle is the one that will paint me in one specific light and one way. So that way the reactions that they will get from people and the attention that they will get from people will only be one way. And that's what makes its way to my channel. It makes its way to my Twitter. It makes its way to anything I do. And it really bothers me. It really does because it actually impacts my channel. It impacts my reputation. It impacts everything that I do here. And it's gotten to a point where, like I have emphasized this entire stream and in previous streams, where I will show people, like when I finally decide, okay, I've had enough, I'm going to show you why this person is lying or being disingenuous or just it's bullshit. It's rejected and it's treated like nobody cares, dude. It's like, well, no, you care enough to follow these assholes and see it one way. And you care enough to actually say some shit. Sometimes you care enough to even make your way to my channel and say some shit. And so I think it just reveals that I'm going to have to get hyper aggressive in defending myself. And, maybe I'll find some people that can help me along the way. I don't want to do this because it should not be necessary, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just going to have to happen. Um, it's not to change anything, by the way. It's not to stop it from happening. It's not to convince those who are doing it where you shouldn't do it anymore. It's in an effort to even this scales a little bit, where it's like if 100 people see this random shit clip that somebody made of me, but they purposely left out the next 3 or 4 minutes where I actually, it completely changes the context of it, or there's something I said that's exactly the opposite. Um, I think I'm just gonna have to be that person, or I'm gonna have to figure out a way to, well, maybe I'll hire somebody. I don't know. Uh, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to like, here you go, here you go, just so everybody knows. Like, if you want to continue to be as you're being, go ahead. But here's the rest. Here's something I said a week ago that's being left out of this conversation that anybody who actually watches my content and tunes in knows about, but you probably don't. You know? Yeah, I've considered it. Don't be koala. I've considered it. It's hard though. Well, we'll see. We'll see where we go from here. Tomorrow's a new month though, but guys, that is going to wrap up this stream. It was a crazy one. Upcoming streams probably won't be like this. Hopefully they won't be. I don't know. Some people like it, but we'll see where it goes. So that does it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and for hearing me lose my mind for nearly the last 4 hours. I want to give a big thank you
NBG,
and a
you have
big
great
shout
fans
out.
that
We hit
support you. Don't let
77
them get
members.
under our
Stephen
skin, bro,
Leon.
although you fighting back is going to be great content.
Hold on, we got Wall Roar with one more direct donation. Thank you for that, Wall Roar. I do appreciate that. Thank you, man. And thank you for the direct donations as well. But yeah, got to give a shout out to Stephen Leon. He dropped a $50 super chat and 40 memberships. Absolutely huge. If Then Statement, Hellbound, everybody who became members, Corey, you guys know who you are. And anybody else who dropped any super chats, thank you so much for that. I also want to give a big shout out to Devil Shooter. He does the timestamps for the stream. I don't know. To be honest, this is a stream where it's like the time. I mean, I don't know how you timestamp it, but Devil Shooter will probably, he does great work. So thank you so much for that, Devil Shooter. Keep doing what you're doing, man. If you guys see him in the comments, give him some thanks. I know, right? I know. The one day, the next stream I do, I'm going to be totally calm and relaxed, and Rich Raw's going to be like, "Come on, bro, come on." We got to make sure we let him know to come watch this stream. He's going to be really upset. He's going to be really upset, dude. All right, guys. That's it. Please enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We may or may not be back here tomorrow with another stream. I would like to, but we have to see what's going on. But just have notifications turned on, and that's it. I will catch you guys in the next one. Until next time, take care, everyone. Fuck the haters.